Live.
Oh, and we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, whatever time it is where you tune in from. This is Monad
In the morning.
episode.
This time it was bouncing around.
I was gonna say, was I supposed to kick that off? We have different seating than we usually do today.
Correct. We've got some in-person guests coming on, juggling the logistics around. First and foremost, we need the chat's help. Can you see us? Can you hear us? Is this going to be our first out of 34 episodes of Monad in the Morning where we do not have any technical difficulties? Impossible. There must be at least one technical
I
difficulty.
mean, I can make.
We need a
sense.
magic 8-ball. We need a magic 8-ball on the stream because there's a lot of questions where we just float them out there, and I think it'd be great if it was like, will there be technical difficulties?
Yeah.
Outlook not good.
Hearing that we should not be concerned because our audio quality stinks. Thank you.
Who
Thank
said
you,
that?
Savant. Danny sounds like he has a lisp. I think that might be a skill issue on my part, but we will look into this. We will look into this. Are we definitely pulling audio from these microphones?
We have to be.
Yeah, that's what it does. Talk.
Is the audio different from what people are usually listening to? Let's just assume it's working, and then people in the comments will let us back. What a week!
People say it's fine. It is just Savant doesn't like my lisp, but that is okay. We will proceed. This is Monad in the Morning, and we have a lot to chat about today. Definitely an all. We're going to extend today's stream due to the legendary guests that we have lined up. First, at 11 o'clock, we will have Nick Van Eck unpacking
10:45, right?
or 10:45. Yes,
15 minutes early.
Yes. So correct. Thank you, intern. 10:45. Adjusting
wizard.
my schedule. We have Nick Van Eck joining us from Agora, unpacking the announcement that just went out. Very exciting stuff. He will be followed by Mateo, co-founder of Roomy. Very exciting project as well that I don't think people have heard a ton about yet, at least from the Monad Foundation channels. So
Yeah, I'm very excited to get to talk to Mateo at Rumi.
yes, for sure. We've been chatting in the non-public sphere for a couple months now, and really excited about the Roomy product. Lots to dive into there, and we will close out today's show with a familiar crowd favorite. We have Mr. Blue coming on, CEO and founder of Lever Bet. Yes, that is correct. We will have leveraged sports betting from day one of Monad Mainnet. That is probably the most degenerate thing that you could possibly imagine.
Dude, the charting on this is actually I think that it is the single most viral mechanic that I've seen in natural marketing within the Monad ecosystem. Like, sports betting on its own is one thing. They need to turn the volume.
Yeah, I was
can't
gonna
listen.
message.
This is insane.
I'll go turn down the volume.
Okay, I will talk about leverage sports
But for
betting
our
in a
viewers,
monologue.
but for our viewers at home, turn the volume up
Yes.
because we have a lot of things to say today.
And potentially some ASMR. So, Danny, while you go and fix that, now, oh my God, Joseph, I can't even think straight. We have for everyone watching, we have about 7 different audio channels blasting in at different times, listening to ourselves speak. What else happened this week? We had the airdrop claim. The airdrop claim portal went live. I think it would actually work pretty well to do essentially a breakdown of the first 24 hours of it going live, what that happened, everything we observed. And it sounds like Danny has fixed the problem. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you, Danny.
Thank you, sir.
So, Danny, while you were gone, you didn't miss much. Just the airdrop claim portal going live this week. So
Nothing too big.
finally,
What?
and a lot of people said once that portal goes live, Monad's going to start getting no more likes on their tweets. We're still getting likes on the tweets, maybe more likes than ever, actually.
I think more people like Monad than ever.
More real people. Well, that is an interesting dynamic. Who could have predicted that? Well, the airdrop claim portal went live on Tuesday. It was a big event. I think a lot of people have been waiting for that for a very long time. Um, so it opened to the public at 9 o'clock. I hit send on the tweet at 9 o'clock, and at about 9 o'clock and 10 seconds, the entire thing exploded and no one could access the site. What happened was we actually toppled over Privy across the entire crypto ecosystem, which is insane. Um, the vast majority of apps that use Privy, like no one could go and access them. I know we were talking to the FOMO team who uses Privy, and they were essentially saying like, yeah, no one can come and use our app right now. So many people came to the Monad Claim portal at once, tried to access it, that it literally like overloaded Privy's databases, blew it up, hit the whole thing over. Took about an hour, hour and a half to get everything stabilized on that side. But that was pretty insane. Talking directly to the Privy team, they were like, "We've never seen this type of activity before. This is outrageous."
It felt a little bit reminiscent of the testnet launch
Dude,
when
yes.
immediately faucet goes down, pandemonium on Twitter. Everyone's like, "Hey, can I get some testnet mon?" And then the team and community basically became the faucet, which was epic. A little bit different on this situation. Didn't have that
But
luxury.
the common thread, where basically we will go and talk to other partners and we will say, "Hey, you are going to be swamped. There are a lot of people excited about Monad. When we launch this, a lot of people are going to rush and do this at one time. Like, please be ready. Beef up your stuff. However much you think you need to beef it up, you need to do it even more than that." We saw this on testnet launch. And then every single time it's the exact same reaction. It's like, "Oh shit, everything broke, it fell over." And then they ping us. They're like, "We didn't expect that much activity. We tried to tell you." This happened with testnet launch. It happened with the mainnet claim portal. The site worked perfectly. The site worked perfectly. Full stop. The Monad engineering team killed it, put it together. However, it was every time we try to work with an external party, they underestimate the power of the Monad community and the amount of attention, excitement on this product, which is cool. There's a lot of demand. A lot of people are flying around. They want to use this. We just need to, the next massive rollout like this, where a lot of people are probably going to do something at once, is mainnet launch. I hope everyone is ready. There are a lot of external parties involved in this. I'm not sure which one of them will blow up and which ones will be prepared, but it will certainly be enormous no matter what happens. What were we talking about though? We went through Privy broke, then it was fixed. At that point, a lot of people started to claim. They started to what happened over the course of the day? 2 hours in, people start to get their like community last or top 99% or like mid, but we like you cards. No one really knew what it meant. It took about 2 hours. People started to figure out. I started seeing breakdown threads. They're like, "Oh, this is the tiering. This is how it works." We probably got, I'm just going to throw out 7,000 DMs. That seems about the right number of the amount of DMs that at least I received. I'm sure you were in a similar boat, Danny. Um, a lot of answers, a lot of speculation, people guessing what the airdrop claim meant, people guessing what the tiering meant. I will just say most of the random speculation you see on the timeline is just not true. We say it over and over again. People make up stories and then they inflate them. And then they're like, "This is the truth. I saw so many people say it." And then it ends up not being true. And they're like, "How could this not be true?" It's like, we never said anything like this. Um, this happened many times. Toons posted a good tweet last night because there were a lot of people that were like, "How could the testnet transactions? What is?" And Toons was like, "Guys, here are 4 distinct separate tweets where I'm like, you should not be looking at these websites. But if enough people just say the same thing to each other over and over without the team saying anything about it, they just create their own narrative. It becomes self-empowering when other people believe it, and then you just like sputter off and go in the complete wrong direction. So this happens all the time. We see it first person happening all the time. Um, we've tried to say this over and over again. Be skeptical of literally anything you read that is not coming from official channels. There's an insane amount of misinformation flowing around. A lot of people were very upset too. They reached out. They said, "Hey, um, everyone was saying this is something that I needed to do, and then this came out, and that thing that I was doing wasn't eligible." We're like, "Yeah, we actually were saying multiple times, please do not look at this as something that you need to do." Whatever. There were like a million different random conspiracies that people were like fully buying into. But it just goes to show, like, just please look at official channels and take actual language from the team. Don't fall into these like random corners of the internet that are trying to like beat the game. I don't know. What
And
do you think?
well, speaking first and foremost, speaking of official channels, normally in terms of marketing materials, people don't go crazy typically over a blog. However, the blog on blog.monad.xyz about the airdrop gives a good high level perspective of a lot of the intentionality behind distribution and the work that the quant and engineering teams put in. And it really is one, a cool read. It is accurate perspective. It is a good source of truth. And it does show just how broad this distribution is across contributors who have made crypto possible, pushed the crypto industry forward, and that ultimately, we hope is something that's extremely impactful long term. So, got to shout out the blog. I know it's something that normally people will just kind of like skim over, or maybe toss a like on the tweet link if you're feeling so generous. But this one is definitely worth the read. Definitely worth checking out. And there's a lot to come. One of the cool things about Monad is the airdrop and mainnet launch is not the end of the road. There's quite a bit lined up for mainnet day one and beyond. So
Mhm.
lots to be excited for, lots to do on chain. I think people are going to be really surprised. Fitz put out a good tweet within the last week or so that people are definitely going to be surprised about the trading stack that's available on day one. A
Right.
lot of very well-known, widely used providers are going to be on Monad live day one, and that's pretty unique. You
Mhm.
tend to not see these things. In addition to this whole landscape of native apps, right? We have Roomy coming on today. We've got Lever coming on today. There's many others that we've had on this show over the course of the first 33 episodes. So, lot in the pipeline. Trademark, no pun intended.
Oh yeah.
And ultimately a lot of empathy for those who were excited and disappointed. A lot of excitement for those who are rightfully excited.
We're
But
excited and then we're excited.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
one
So
one of my, favorite interactions from yesterday was yours and Gainsey. That was
Oh my
pretty
god.
pretty hilarious.
This is it's like you usually if I get a DM from an account that has like 8 followers and they're like, "This is an issue I'm having," and I'm replying like, that is the type of thing I would expect from them. They're like, "Is is my Monad card tied to my," or I can't remember what wallet my Monad card's in. I was like, "Your Monad card is just connected to your Twitter. There is no wallet." And then what he
He
goes,
replies to that.
he replies to that and says, "God, I want to find it." Inverse Broad tweeted it. He replies to that and was like, "Mine's not working." And I go, "Did you connect your Twitter?" He goes, "No, I connected my wallet." It's like, dude, like for you, there people don't like to read. They want to be handheld. And I agree. That's like I
Thanks a
would look
lot,
for the same type of thing.
ChatGPT.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like Claude's commercial um has never been truer. Their new
Screen
tagline, keep thinking.
it's the screenshot, it's like, "What do I do next?" It's
Right.
like
Yeah. But yeah, we had over 30 million requests hit the website in the first 20 minutes, which is just absolutely ludicrous numbers. Um, we had some things that did need to be fixed and updated. I shouted them out on my Twitter yesterday as like a 24-hour recap with updates. I have another tweet that's going to go out as soon as Tunes pings me back. Tunes, if you're watching this, stop watching this and ping me back so I can send this tweet. But on the pipeline, you get information first. So I guess I will let everyone who's watching know some of the fixes and updates we have. Over the last day, updates and eligibility fixes, fixed hypers and other NFT eligibility issues. So if you were having issues with your hyper or other NFTs for eligibility, go check again. Should be fixed. We fixed bot filtering issue for Hyperliquid addresses. We fixed bot filtering issues for meme coin trader addresses. There are other miscellaneous fixes. The one that I think Tunes is rolling out right now, which I know is going to be a fan favorite across the Monad community. So you can go ahead and clip this because I can't send the tweet yet because Tunes is being slow on his Slack. But either right now or in like the next 2 or 3 minutes or something, the Telegram authentication will go live. So we had a lot of people in that OG Telegram chat as a special place in my heart. I love that chat. That was really the start of kind of all of the marketing community engagement that we did early on. Danny won the first meme competition within that chat, and now he's literally Mr. Pipeline.
I actually never got my merch pack prize from that, and I am very upset.
That is on brand. That is very and now you run a show, spin a wheel, and don't send people their merch packs that they win. So it's full circle.
People hurt people.
Right, right. But
that is not true. For avoidance of doubt, if I owe you merch, we will get to you.
Danny will
Sometimes
regret.
takes a little bit.
Danny will regret not sending merch to the winners of Mana in the Morning. Spin the wheel.
Now I have to create a new Telegram account.
So those community members that were in the Telegram, they didn't know what was happening. They were like, I connected my Discord, my Twitter, where I don't what's going on? It's fixed now. Telegram is fixed. If you are a Telegram member and you received John W. Rich Kid's message yesterday that was poorly worded but well intended, it should work for you now. Or go check it out in a little bit.
And also, the main thing at the end of the day is the claim portal is open until November 3rd. Early reveal, which is entirely optional, does not affect your allocation. Early reveal goes live on the 28th of October. It is currently October 16th. The claim portal will remain open. As intern says, we're aware of the edge cases, and as I was saying previously, there's a lot that's gone into this. There's a lot of unique identifiers, obviously a lot of people hitting the site, a lot of confusing information being circulated out there by random third parties. So best to remain cautious, don't rush to click any links, follow the official channels, check periodically, but it's open until November 3rd, and everyone's doing their best across the board.
Don't freak out.
It's okay.
Stay frosty. You'll be good. You saying it's October 16th actually did just remind me I'm going to use this distribution channel selfishly for about 10 seconds right now. Shout out to my sister, currently in labor, expected to give birth today. So October 16th will be my niece's birthday. If anyone clips this and sends it to me, I can send it to her after she gives birth. And then that is kind of officially the first piece of media about this little baby, my niece, her daughter, that we're all very excited to see. So shout out my sister. Shout out Intern Bra's sister. We have a little niece coming today. So 10/16, special day.
Tremendous. First of all, yes, congratulations. Second of all, though, imagine you are intern's niece and you grow up, and while you grow up, the entire financial system runs on Monad, and you get to look back and realize that your birthday, your first birthday, was shouted out on Monad in the Morning, the largest live stream ever.
Monad in the
Morning.
And yes, so that's what we're looking at. You, if you're watching this, you probably got a digital airdrop this week. My family is getting a physical airdrop of a new family member, so very exciting. Fixes that we're still working on the eligibility side.
Nice segue.
Hardware wallets, specifically for Solana. It's been a little bit trickier to fix that one. If you're watching mine in the morning, you probably just use hot wallets. There's no chance any of you use hardware wallets. I know that for a fact. You probably don't even have a crypto wallet yet. No, hardware wallets, we're working on it. We hear you. There's a couple issues with Soulflare as well. Not everything's perfect yet, but like on launch day, it was over 90% there. Since then, we fixed 90% of the things that weren't there. We're just adding additional nines on until we get to effectively 100%. Some other news this morning broke.
What's the news?
The news, I'm glad you asked. Echo users, you should have received an email from Kobe this morning explaining that one, you are eligible for the Monad airdrop, and two, how to actually go and get your eligibility reflected in the Monad claim portal and claim your airdrop. I believe it's not whatever wallet address you have set up. There was a new one created for you. You can access on your account. Go plug that in as one of your 8 EVM addresses on the claim portal, and then you will be eligible. So Echo users, shout out Echo. Great product, great users, and hopefully part of the Monad community now.
Also, by extension, shout out Cambria.
Shout out Cambria and Sins. This guy has no quit.
The chat is like saying echo, and I'm going like, where? There's no echoes.
But
I'm like,
Yeah.
Not a technical difficulty for once on Monad in the Morning. This is the Echo investment.
they're saying
platform.
first time hearing echo, and I'm just like very.
Wait, we get a Monad airdrop? Drop. Yes.
Yes.
And also,
Included.
in case you missed it, now you can officially call intern an Unk.
Yes. Hopefully in the next few hours,
Yeah.
I'm officially an Unk. This is my last stream as a Zoomer. And then I think you skip Millennial and go straight to Boomer the second you're an uncle, right? Like there's no.
Wow, is that the case?
I believe so. I don't know. I actually don't know how the official rules work, but that is my interpretation of how they work.
When it first became apparent that I was a Zoomer, technically, like I'm right over the cutoff. You probably are too.
I'm a Zoomer.
I was very upset, to be honest. But over time, I became really proud of my Zoomer status. I'm very glad about that. So I hope I don't have to forfeit that. Sorry to see you go, Unc.
Dude,
I went straight to Boomer when I was 21, so had child early.
Dude, how about
what happened to Vegas didn't stay in Vegas.
It followed me around forever. Dude, epic. Shout out Savant already clipped the Monad in the Morning for this morning. So
what a legend.
I'm going to send that to my niece the second she gets an iPhone.
What a legend. And honestly,
10 years from now.
A couple hours.
Yeah.
Gotta plug Savant. He's been
Unk
cooking
turn.
on the
Somebody
Twitter
said
game.
Unk turn.
Yeah. Maybe I'll make that my name on twitter.com. Futurely known as x.com.
Got to shout out Savant, though. Savant is absolutely crushing it behind the scenes. Monad in the Morning, Monad Media Machine. He is behind a lot of the edits and content that you see from the pipeline, from the @Monad account, clips from Monad in the Morning. Savant is all over the map, so do follow him on Twitter at SSSAVANTTT. Well worth the follow. Shout out Savant.
Shout out to Savant. We have about 12 minutes until we get Nick Van Eck, mastermind at Agora, on the stream. This is an awful idea, but if you have any questions about the airdrop that you would like Danny and I to answer, please throw them in the chat. We likely won't answer if they are insane questions that we obviously cannot answer. However, if they are actual normal questions that are fine to run through, then we absolutely will. So, drop some questions. We look to address some of them. Let's see what to look forward to on the Monad timeline. We have Monad Momentum going live, or the recipients being announced next week. So if you have people pinging you and you're like, oh, I love Monad, it's actually sick, and they're like, wow, what are the apps that I should use? Then you can go, here are the apps you should use. These are the Monad Momentum recipients. They're obviously good, they're vetted, and now they will be incentivized upon mainnet deployment. So that's pretty big. That's honestly pretty big news.
Definitely big news. And I think I've been saying this for weeks now. I think Monad Momentum is one of, if not the most underrated aspects of the Monad ecosystem and the broader mainnet launch right now.
I agree. I would pay attention. Everyone always, I'm reading all these random conspiracies. I don't want to listen to what the team is actually saying. Hey, everybody, the team is actually saying, pay attention to the recipients of Mana Momentum. It's worth paying attention to. Official language.
Monad Momentum is here to help better the top apps user acquisition strategies by directly incentivizing user growth. That means if you are an app, you put forward a good plan to acquire users. Monad Foundation looks at it, says, yes, this in fact is a great plan for your wonderful app to go acquire some users. We will match your spend up to one-to-one so that you can go acquire those users. That means your customer acquisition cost is potentially lower by half. That's great. Customers can be expensive to acquire. That means you can potentially acquire double the amount of users, double the amount of customers for the same cost. That's fantastic. More apps, more users, more fun, more Monad.
More Monad.
More Monad.
Okay, we are getting some questions coming in. Shout out Mirth Mono. This guy
Mirth
just
Mono.
always great questions.
Always
Always
here.
great questions.
And always showing up.
Absolutely. The reason I picked this is because the answer is so opaque that it's almost funny to say live on stream. He goes, are there more secrets to be revealed regarding the Monad airdrop before the 18th? I'm assuming he means the 28th. But I don't know. Mirth Mono, if you actually did mean the 18th for some strange reason that I'm not aware of, please let us know.
Sure, your secrets.
Yeah, but assuming you did mean the 28th, I cannot answer that question. Okay, we have one from _SA. The actual tag is from _SA. So the question is from _SA. What about Yayo NFT holders? I've never heard of Yayo NFTs.
Those are the ones that does James's car.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need the magic 8-ball for this so that we can have the magic 8-ball answer. Outlook, not good. Brady MSK. Why not community first? Why last? With this emoji. Brady. DM Cryptunes on Twitter. I think he had a lot to do with the actual wording.
It is pretty cool that Tom Brady is watching our stream right now.
Yes, it is. It is actually very cool that. Okay.
Why
Hang on.
why are the Steve NFT holders not eligible?
You can almost certainly directly blame Tunes.
I think it actually made you ineligible holding it. That's
You're
the
blacklisted.
yeah. So nice.
Here's one. Decatan, is Monad already snapshot all testnet, Discord, and Twitter activity, or can we still increase allocation while waiting claim portal to end? Um, I'm trying to think of something witty to throw about the grammar on that one. Decatan, I really appreciate the intention of the question. No, there is nothing. Everything was set in stone ahead of rollout. This is purely retroactive. So, yeah, there you go. This is a retroactive airdrop. Any other, a real chaos walker. Today you announced Echo.xyz investors are eligible. Do you have any other banger in the waiting list till 3 of November? Yeah, my answer to that is Chaos Walker. You're on my list now. My shit list. I'm not answering your question. Not because of that question, because of in the past. You were super high. Now I need to, you gotta get it up a little bit. We need a little bit more out of Chaos Walker recently. That's my answer.
I don't know if you mentioned this, but is there anything that they have to do or anybody has to do after if they've gone and claimed, they've done everything?
Great prompt.
Yeah.
So, what is the October 28th? What is November 3rd? What do I do as a user? So, if you went in and connected everything and you're eligible and you have your destination address, you have a choice. Option 1, you're done. You don't have to do anything. You literally have to do nothing when Mon mainnet goes live. Check that address, your Mon will be in there. That's it, full stop. You don't have to do anything. October 28th is an optional reveal. So it will be awesome. This is another, this is a special event, I think, for people that actually do deeply care about Monad and have been waiting for kind of this moment, this rollout for a very long time. This is set up specifically for these people. So if you are new or lazy and don't care about anything and you just put in your wallet and you traded shitcoins on Pump Fun and that's all you are, you can just leave your wallet address. You will receive your tokens on day one of mainnet. Or when you check on day one of mainnet, your tokens will be there. Sorry, I correct myself. If you want to check out the reveal, which I highly recommend, but is definitely optional, tune in when that countdown timer hits 0. It will be very cool. I think you will be happy.
Will there be a meetup, Mexi said, after mainnet or a mainnet party of any kind?
I don't know. It's up to you guys.
That seems like a great thing for the community to organize.
If I was in the community, I would go and organize that, knowing that Danny, Kevin, and Jessup likely will have to just sit on Twitter for 16 hours per day for the next 2 months and don't have time to do it on their own, but would love if there was a community meetup. Someone take agency, take control, take the bull by the horns and set this up.
I mean, that's probably like a broader theme in general is like this is the opportunity to take agency and to take the bull by horns. Like
Absolutely.
we've said it a million times. This is the starting line, and like there
Yeah.
is so many holes and areas that people can build something new.
100%.
Agency.
Yeah. One other thing I will throw out there for Mon in the Morning viewers, because you guys get the information first. Yeah, so clearly the team is pretty plugged in and pretty aware of everything that happens in crypto and Monad specifically. Clearly with the airdrop reveal, we expect some people to be excited and continue in their fantastic community journeys. And some people to basically check a box and then walk away. I would recommend sticking around and doing things and hang out in the Monad community. Check out apps. This is the big rollout. I Yeah, I would say that's information from official channel. Yes, stick around, play with Monad. It is certainly something that if you do truly believe in crypto and what Monad is and what it brings to crypto, then it is definitely a good idea to stick around and
Yeah.
continue to contribute. Doing thing. Oh, the airdrop already out. If I set up this community thing, maybe no one will notice, and then it won't be reflected in my eligibility. Don't think like that. Do cool things. It always works out in your benefit.
The way we previously would talk about the opportunity was the Monad community was a group of people that had very early information on Monad and spent the time to go do their own research, do their own due diligence, look into Keone and James's background, and be like, yes, wow, these guys have incredible experience from HFT and systems optimization. I think they could actually rebuild the EVM to fulfill this goal. This seems like real technology. I'm attending these Twitter spaces, hanging out in the Discord, meeting people, learning about the tech. That gave you basically membership into this bubble of people that were all aligned in the sense that they knew about Monad early and they had some degree of excitement about Monad from an early stage. Now, Monad is pretty well known. Most people in crypto know the brand, know that Monad is an L1 that's launching in 2025. And the airdrop claim is live. So it probably feels to a lot of people like you are not early. However, there is still an opportunity to be early in a different context, and that is to gain a lot of mind share by building something cool. And that doesn't need to be a startup. It doesn't need to be, crypto's next viral application to bridge the gap and bring on 10 billion new users. This can be organizing a meetup, doing something cool, and planting your flag very early in the Monad community on Monad mainnet is going to be a great way to get a lot of attention around mainnet launch and to carve out future opportunities for yourself, whatever you want them to be. So
Yeah.
if you want to do something, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I would like knowing what I know and having gone through some very rigorous hoops and working a long time in the crypto industry. If you are one of the Monad community members who was included and are eligible for the Monad airdrop, you are probably in the single best position, highest opportunity place, highest leverage position possible to just like lock in for like 2 to 4 months and like secure an awesome spot, an awesome job, an awesome opportunity, crush on chain. Like you are primed up. Literally, crypto, you are like one of the best positioned people in crypto right now, with opportunities that are endless in front of you. Like, take it. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, people that are dropping out right now, I'm like, you're you're 24 miles into a marathon and you are on record pace. Uh, and like you made a side bet with your buddy that you could run 24. It's like finish through the line, run the last 2.2 miles. It's trust me. Um, Question for you, Jessup. Are we doing the intermission at all today? Is it before Nick? Is it after Nick?
We could do it whenever. I have a special one for today.
Ah,
My suggestion was that we do it after Nick.
okay,
He's about to come on and
perfect.
to to steal Jessup's thunder, as I
Thanks. Steal
as I
that thunder,
often do,
Danny.
as I often do. Today's intermission is pretty special. It is a brand new, never seen before YouTube video that is going to drop tomorrow, I think, and it's pretty cool. So I don't know if we want to say any more about it now, but this is Monad in the morning. You get the news, you get the updates, you get the alpha, and part of that alpha is a brand new, never before seen YouTube video that should be fun, should be a little bit educational as well.
Oh yeah. Well, we have I believe Nick is going to come and join us. Danny, I don't know if you're talking to him on your computer. I can rapid fire answer 2 more community questions.
Rapid fire,
While we set Nick up to
away.
We could also go to a quick intermission too. So
Let's not let's stay on the line here. I'm going to answer 2 questions. Nick's going to come in and we are going to hit it running. Bigra0 asks, I might pronounce Bigra0. Did you guys intentionally did allocation systems so confused so none can get the system? That's did you, Bigra, intentionally word this question to confuse? So I can't understand what the question is. I think I understand what you're asking. Yes, clearly we wanted to give some information, not all information. We wanted to give some cool visuals that people could share. So yes, you should have the right amount of information. So yeah, I think that the answer to that one is yes. I would say not to confuse, but I would say to enlighten. Okay. And then final question, Impaler Mesmer. How much time did it take you and teams to prepare the claim portal? A lot of time. Yeah, that's a pretty short answer on that one. A lot. Karula Ka says, "Are you guys coming to Buenos Aires? Feel like this is the next official meet up after mainnet. LOL." I don't know. I probably won't come to Buenos Aires, but that's just because I like New York City. But other people might. I don't know.
I'd be down.
Just a
Because I don't like New York City.
We certainly will have a presence in Buenos Aires for DevCon, but
oh, true. For
specifics, right? Specifics TBA. Stay tuned. The official Monahead channels. You know where to get the info. But for now,
Well,
we have
wait.
some different info.
Speaking of DevCon in Buenos Aires, one of the biggest use cases in South America has in crypto has been payments, and stablecoins are exploding there. Who better to talk about stablecoins than Mr. Nick Van Eck, CEO and founder of Agora? Nick, that is your cue. How are we doing today?
See you guys.
Welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
See you, man. See you. I'll be in Argentina, so
There you
I
go.
can represent the Monad community if need be.
Bingo.
So,
And I think we got to tee up a merch swap as well.
we do.
Yeah,
that's
great.
I was actually mad because last night I was home and I was like, I should have brought the hats. We have great hats, great hoodies, so we'll do a merch swap.
Okay. Bingo.
We have a ton of hoodies in office here, so will pay you first and then expect the hoodie to come back in the future. Nick, how we doing? Very excited to have you on today.
Yeah, today's a big day. So we announced, obviously that we'll be on mainnet on day 1. So we're getting everything set up, in the next couple of weeks. And then, the 2 other things that we announced is one, our instant liquidity product, which we haven't really talked about much publicly, but we're going to bring to Monad on day 1. And so what this is a fixed price swapper against USDC. So you'll be able, KYB counterparties with us will be able to swap USDC and AUSD 1-to-1 in fairly large size, which will help supplement liquidity on chain. And then the third thing that we announced is the Earn AUSD product from Upshift. And so what this is going to effectively, you'll be able to deposit in USDC or AUSD, and then they'll go and run the basis trade or delta neutral strategies. And so the goal is to also really use some of those assets to funnel them back into Monad protocols, right? And build a huge flywheel for both stablecoins and yield on chain. So we're super excited about it.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to dive into actually some of the use cases that you're excited about on that side of things. Before we get into that, maybe just a high level overview of Agora in general, right? I think you could, I guess I can let you describe it. To me, Agora sits in this, basically like one of the best players within this stablecoin thesis. How I think of Agora, right? They're the intro. Sorry.
Yeah, and I can give a background on the story, right? So, I spent my career on the buy side. I first got into crypto in 2016 when I was working for a hedge fund, and really got sucked back in, around DeFi summer, because it was the first time there were protocols and things that I wanted to do on chain. Like when I first, found Ethereum in 2016, there was not really anything to do, um, and I was spending my day investing in financial tech companies, right? So my prior firm, General Catalyst, the second largest investor in Stripe, investors in Monzo, Venmo, like all of like the biggest fintech names, that you would know. And I felt like the last 15 years was really like front end, right? Improvement. So demand aggregation, customer segmentation, better UIs on the banking side, but no one was really solving, the hard problems which, Monad is solving. And so to me, blockchain and DLT was just going to eat all of financial services and payments. And um, rewind a few years ago, there were really only two stablecoin issuers, right? You had Tether, which has obviously been a tremendously successful business, and then Circle, which really had one partner in Coinbase, right? From both an economic perspective, but also from an integration perspective, customer service perspective, and it left like every other protocol, whether it's like an app, of cross-border payments business, sort of like out in the lurch. And to me, it was very obvious that stablecoins were going to be a 10, $20 trillion asset class. Like it's just money, right? And if we believe that the whole world is coming on chain, like you're going to need to get to that size. And so the duopoly was not going to continue to exist in the way that it had. And so what we wanted to do was really build like the first enterprise forward stablecoin infrastructure company. And so what that means is economic alignment. So we share underlying revenue on AUSD with the applications and the companies that use it. As well as building sort of infrastructure that abstracts away that you're even using sort of crypto in the first place. And so we're doing that as well, like on the business side. And so you'll see announcement in Q1 that we'll do, which is really like helping bring a lot of companies on chain because they want the instant settlement, they want the programmatic transactions, they want like real time yield accrual without feeling like they're interacting with crypto,
Hmm.
right? I would say like some examples of companies that have really done a good job of abstracting that away is Privy, right? Where it's like you can log in with socials and email and things that you're familiar with. And so we're going to do a lot of things on the business side as well. Started the company. Our 2-year anniversary was actually earlier this week.
Let's go.
So still a
Airdrop
young
week.
company. But that's where we're playing. We also offer white label stables. Our instant liquidity product, but are continuing to build out the feature set.
Oh yeah. So um one example that comes to mind here is like you have USDC and they have Coinbase as a partner,
Yep.
right? And we won't dive into the specifics of the agreement, but basically like some of the yield on the interest for the dollars goes to Coinbase.
Yep.
As somebody who's embracing USDC as a stable coin, is it fair to like draw some comparisons there and say like AUSD is actually similar, but it's open for business for anyone
Yeah.
that wants to use a stable coin and share the yield of that stable coin with those
Yeah,
companies and apps?
that's exactly right. Right. So, and I can even go a little bit further, right? So the way that the agreement works between Circle and Coinbase is that they share, half of the revenue of USDC sort of everywhere, and then 100% of the revenue for USDC that's on a Coinbase platform, right? So that could be Coinbase the exchange, Coinbase the
Pretty good for
custodian.
Coinbase.
Base. Yeah, it's good. So if you actually look at
It's amazing,
Coinbase's
too.
financials, right, and Circle's, Coinbase makes more money off of USDC than Circle does.
Mm.
And so what we said is like, okay, well, like this is kind of crazy that everyone else is cut out, but like let's also help drive this down to zero, right? And so we can work with companies like Perpdexes, right? Like we announced, Purple, right?
Mhm.
Where it's crazy that you're posting USDC collateral on like Hyperliquid or wherever it is today, or like a centralized exchange, and you're not accruing sort of like the risk-free rate, right? And so we're working with them to change that. Another team that you could see operationalizing this soon is like a prediction market, right? Prediction markets, the most popular markets are long dated markets. Well, okay, do you want to be sitting on the presidential election for like 3 years, right? Your position and not earn 12%,
That's a
4% each
really
year.
good use case.
And so, yeah, so obviously all the big prediction market guys are going to move to this model. And so our view is like this was inevitable. And if you think about like, you have all these like stablecoin neobanks, right, which are very popular in
Yeah,
emerging
neobank, the
markets.
new meta.
It's the new
People
meta
love
in
it.
crypto for sure. But like, of course, like they're going to want to monetize the dollars on their platform, right? And so, our original view is like, okay, do that with AUSD. In some cases, like white labeling has become popular. I think it's become a little bit more popular than it should. But like anything, it's a new meta. I think what is here to stay is that people are going to want to monetize the stablecoin balances on their platform, right? And
Mhm.
so we're here to help them do that. And also, like, what we want to, something that I think about a lot as well is we want to build our own sort of like money ecosystem, right? And so we're helping, projects that are doing innovative things in payments, RWAs, get off the ground, right? It's like why in our announcement today, you saw us say, hey, we already have all these people lined up to work with us. And there's also like many more and very large players that we didn't include in the announcement because like that's, our view is we want to foster a community in the same way that you guys do as well and help an ecosystem grow. And so like, there's a big Tether ecosystem, a big Circle ecosystem, and we want to help build the Agora ecosystem.
Yeah, well, it's a very interesting business model that seems like a clear fit, right? There are these enormous players. They already have distribution. They're getting extreme amounts of yield from that. It's a great business model. Most people in crypto that know how Tether operates considers them to be like maybe the best business ever built, right? Like
Yeah,
Paolo is always tweeting out, he's like, "Yeah, we made $4 billion last quarter." There's like 8 guys running the whole. Not actually. I
yeah.
realize we're live on stream. It's a small team for the amount of capital that they're working with. Um, but it's really cool to see this like essentially the same deal happening in not fully a permissionless way, but like something that's much closer to that on the spectrum of like anyone can come in and operate on very similar terms. Like this should be something that other companies get upside in.
Of course, and you're gonna have like layers to this, right? So like one of like our differentiators and I would say our advantages is like being like truly institutional grade, right? So like State Street is our custodian bank. They oversee 49 trillion in assets. Like that's not an error. It is literally 49 trillion, right? Which is insane. And so like
That's a lot of T.
yeah, the the assets are safe there. And then VanEck, which is my family's business, has been around 70 years, manages 150 billion plus dollars, like, is managing the reserves, and so you're getting as blue chip infrastructure on the fiat side as possible. And of course, like we have, compliance and KYB constraints, but then you have like a bunch of products, and like this is why we're working with the Upshifts of the world that are building permissionless products on top of this, right?
Mhm.
And that's the goal of like Earn AUSD, and like you see this with like other existing stable coins, right? Like something that really like you got me to think more about this is like CRP-USDC and CRP-USDT, right? From Maple, the Maple team,
Mhm.
right? And it's like you can have people that sort of build on like the core money substrate that can be more permissionless or take more risk, and sort of you at the center are just trying to build trust and maintain security, right? So there's a lot of layers, sort of downstream that can be created.
Yeah, I think and sorry, Dan, I realize you're probably hopping in as well. Two call outs. One, we try to call out opportunities that we see for clippers on the stream. An obvious clipping, an obvious clip, I guess. We try to give layups for people that are looking for bait. If you can bait the Van Eck intern into replying to some clip of Nick talking here, it is possible. I have baited the Van Eck intern a few times. I've actually never met the Van Eck intern.
One of the best intern accounts, though.
One of the best.
One of the original ones. I think it might have
Yes.
been you, and I
Yeah,
don't want
yeah.
to give away who it is, so I'm just gonna say they, but them.
Yeah, epic, dude. And they just
Yeah.
started crushing, and it's like with like a very serious traditional business, then also being based on crypto Twitter. Like it was an awesome, but it is possible to bait them. It is worth clipping. So for the clippers out there, just wanted to shout that out.
Yeah, maybe we do a collab too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Dude, get a little creative on this one.
Wheels are spinning.
Wheels are spinning. Second, on the downstream effects. So one, I have a lot of friends that are like very deep and very serious in prediction markets.
Yeah.
And one thing they always talk about is like, it will not, even if there's a lot of volume, markets will not be that efficient on prediction markets that are farther out because like the yield isn't worth it. Like if you're betting on something that's a year from now,
Right. You're giving up
people
4%.
people won't. Yeah, exactly. They're like, unless what they see as the true value is more than 4% away from where the market is currently trading, they won't trade it.
Right.
And so it's like kind of fuzzy. It's a little bit accurate, but it's not actually that accurate because you're sitting and losing yield. Like there's opportunity cost for those dollars. And really for people that are like sharps at prediction markets, it's not like 4% for them. It's like 10%. Like
Yeah.
these guys have high opportunity cost for cash. This fixes that, right? Like prediction markets should technically, right, if we're following the downstream effects, more accurately reflect reality if yield is being shared with the platform and the platform decides to then go share it with the users as well that are posting,
Yeah, and
large
I think
orders.
this is like a broader story within crypto, right? It's like, the first settlement layers were like not that efficient, on the gas side, right? And that led to more innovation, right? And then it's like
Won't name names.
yeah, and then it's like, but you see this too, like also with like money market protocols and dexes, right? Like there's been continued iterations, on the perp deck side, right? Like you've seen continued iterations that'll drive the market and all the products to greater efficiency. And like I think, well, we're playing a pretty good role in that. Still early days. I think, the markets are going to continue to be efficient, right? Inefficient for, forever, but, hopefully we're bringing it down, asymptotically as close to zero as we can. And so, yeah, excited to continue to help, change really like the narrative. Cause the way that I saw it when we were starting the company is like, you talk about Tether and how much money they make, right? Or even Circle or Coinbase. I was like, that's like all money that's getting rent seeked from crypto, like every single year. Right, and this was like, and then when we started the company in the middle of the bear, and I was thinking like, well, imagine if like the billions of dollars in cash flow like went back into these ecosystems and created like, a stronger economy. Like you'd have much stronger projects, right? That maybe didn't have to go as far out on like, far out and do TGEs or riskier things that they may have been doing, right? Because they can now build, much stronger businesses, around the cash flows from stablecoins.
From a very, like, broad strokes perspective, like, on the retail side, obviously, like, post FTX, there was a lot of crypto skepticism, particularly on the enterprise and TradFi side of things, and it's caught me a little bit off guard how quickly momentum has ramped up 24, 25 in the public sphere, stablecoins becoming a massive narrative, all these new business cases being explored, new chains launching, etc. Was that the same behind the scenes? Was it really like this light bulb moment where everything started falling into place, or was it truly more gradual?
I think there's two things. To me, like the thesis was inevitable, and like the thesis is clearly playing out, right? Like as you say, I would say two things changed momentum. One, Stripe's acquisition of Bridge, and then Privy, like really got a lot of people in the venture world paying attention because like $1 billion acquisition, whether it's equity or cash, is still a huge number, right? And it gets people paying attention. And then obviously Genius. I think Genius happened a lot faster than people expected. And so what that did is for the first time, like there's now clearly laws that were and the regulation that will be formed around this. And so a lot of businesses that have like issued crypto or not really been paying attention because like, it's a JP Morgan. They have tens of billions of dollars in revenue. They don't need to take risk on their business, right? Are now earnestly starting to move in, right? Because of things like instant settlement, low transaction costs, like programmatic liquidity, like crypto's actually like done a lot to improve like backend technology of financial services and payments and introduce like a lot of really new primitives. And so now they're for the first time I would say making an earnest effort into okay, what's our game plan? Right? I still think a lot of the large scale enterprises, particularly like public companies or once you get above like, a billion, 10 billion are going to take time, right? They're not rushing into it. But what they are doing right now is they're saying, okay, how do I control these assets, right? How do I manipulate these assets and do so in a safe way? So thinking about key management, how do I move money from my bank account, to stables or other assets on chain, right? So that's like on and off ramps, orchestration. And then, what money am I using? And so that's the thought process that they're going through now. A lot of like what we're building internally that, we'll announce next year is going to serve all three of those things, right? So that, and I talk about this a lot, like my North Star is that in 10 years, Pepsi is using the Agora web app, right? And they're moving money from their dozens of entities to their thousands of suppliers, 24/7, settling instantly. They don't have to, have hundreds of millions of dollars in pre-funding. They don't have to basically give up, bips a day to banks, right? Because it can just be sitting in their account, and we'll be tracking it block by block. So it's like, hey, if it's been sitting there for an hour, we can give you a 24th of a basis point, right? If that's like the daily yield. And like that's like super attractive, like to companies that are sitting on billions of dollars are moving, billions, if not tens of billions of dollars a year, right? And so I think we'll start to see them start to adopt stables. My guess is like 2 to 3 years from now, right? Because they're still figuring out key management and these sorts of things. But that all just speaks to how early this is. I talked about this, when we first started. I got into crypto in 2016. I thought that was like second, third inning of crypto because we were already like almost 10 years into like the Bitcoin experience.
Yeah.
And like now I'm like, we are 100% the first inning. Like this is so early. And so it just makes, me excited. Sometimes like I need to like, uh, take a step back and like really like soak that in because it's true. I spent my career in enterprise software investing. I got into that in like the seventh, eighth inning. Like Salesforce went public in 2004. Then you had AWS in '06, Azure, GCP were in 8 and 10, and like still like cloud software is like compounding at like a double digit rate every year. It's like a multi-trillion-dollar industry, and like that's what's going to happen with crypto. And I think you're going to see like protocols like Monad really like take advantage of the whole financial system coming online. So that's why we're excited to work with you guys.
Yeah, it reminds me of if anyone's ever seen Super Pumped, it's like the story of Uber coming up. Early on when they're running through like what is the North Star for Uber? He's like, if you need to go anywhere, I want it to be as easy to get a ride as it is to just turn on the faucet
Yeah.
in your house. And people were like, that's not a thing. Like before Uber did that, you're like, okay, if you need to go somewhere and you don't have it, like you need to get a car service or public transportation or call somebody and ask for a ride. You didn't realize it was going to be so seamless and easy in the future. And like the traditional financial payments rails are like so much closer to having to call a car service or call your buddy to pick you up and route you around than Uber. Like it's not even funny. It's just there's so much money in that system that it's actually very difficult to disrupt quickly. Like which
Well,
is a
there's
good thing.
also there's also a lot of regulation, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you are dealing with people's money, so it's serious, right? And like this will take time, but even if there wasn't a lot of regulation, like things just take time, right? I think people, overestimate what can happen in 1 year, but underestimate what can happen in 10 years, right? And so, I think moves like Stripe, like really like are getting people, off of their, off their seats and like now thinking, okay, how can we improve things quickly? And it only takes like one person, right? Because like if Visa starts doing something, then Mastercard starts doing it, right? And then it like creates like this real domino effect. And so I think you're going to start to just see an acceleration of momentum. And like the reality is, and like this is why I was so firm in my thesis like years ago that blockchain and DLT is going to eat like all of financial services and payments is because it's 100x better, right? Like there's this like moniker in like venture where it's like, oh, is this product 10x better than the prior one? And like it is 100 times better for moving money, right? Like, Kevin, Laura, right? Like, I have a lot of friends, and my fiance is not American. She, for a perfect example, she sent money from Santander to the United States. You know, both of them were the wires the same day. One happened, in 3 days. One happened in 15 days, and it's like, why is that the case? Right? Like we had it
15 days. Yeah.
insane. We had an angel investment from someone in Singapore. It took 25 business days to hit our bank account. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
I talked to this very large hedge fund in Asia. They were like funding one of their portfolio companies with like $100 million. It took 10 days to hit. Then it got rejected because the name on like the memo field was too long. So they sent it back. And anyways, this whole process ended up taking them a whole month. Like with stable coins, like this all happens in like a second. Like, and so the improvement is even more than 100x in some cases.
So you talk about 100x unlock, like
Yeah.
no brainer for businesses, but simultaneously still in the first inning, that due diligence obviously has to be done. I think for the crypto native side, one of the biggest points of criticism or skepticism for Monad is there's already a bunch of chains out there. We've seen a bunch of other chains launch in the past year or two. There's been different attempts at scaling the EVM, scaling chain performance in general. The skeptic point of view is like, oh, maybe it's too late for Monad. Not that it's your job to defend Monad specifically, but as someone who's announcing deployment this morning, how would you think about answering that question?
Yeah, I think that's crazy, right? And I'll give a perfect example. So before coming here, I was meeting with, a very large card processing company, traditional fintech. And something that we were talking about is how much like banks and then also like neobanks are spending on card products, right? So, everyone here there's been credit cards and debit cards for since all of us were born, right?
Mm.
You would say that's probably like a pretty commoditized market. Absolutely not true. Like, look at Robinhood. Robinhood has been like their gold. They launched their gold card. Hundreds of thousands of people have signed up for this and are still on the wait list. Chase Sapphire and like Amex still today are like fighting head and head, right, on like how they can acquire users for like their card programs, right? And like and I'm just using that as like an example because like it's a very established industry with like not much change in terms of performance, right? Like everyone you go to a POS system, you put in your card, right? There's not like that much different from a product perspective, but it's I would say it's like the experience and the other things behind it that make a difference, right? And so like one reason that we're super excited about Monad, like even though this is people are, I guess maybe just to use your foil criticism, it's late in the game. It's like absolutely not late in the game. Like,
Mhm.
name. I don't think you could probably name 10 Fortune 500 companies that are on chain. Like this is still very early. I think also the performance improvements from the network are going to be huge, right? This may be like a faux pas to say, but like I don't think anyone's building applications on Ethereum anymore, right? Like, and it's because it's too expensive, and so and this is frankly like why places like Solana and like some L2s are extremely popular because, if we want to onboard the rest of the world, they don't care about crypto. What they care about is the solution that crypto can provide to them, which is instant settlement, low costs, new financial applications, exporting really like US capital markets to the world, right? We talk about this a lot internally, but one of the reasons why like Tether doesn't have to pay out yield is because just holding dollars is enough in emerging markets, right?
Mm.
Because people are suffering under 30-40% annualized inflation. And so I still think it's really early to the game. You guys are delivering like real performance improvements. And I think are also, and lastly, have built one of like the few real communities, like I would say in crypto, right? Obviously, there's a lot of like mercenary capital and mercenary activity that goes around in the space, but like people have been committed to building on Monad for years, right? And I think that's because they believe in the core team and the integrity of the core team, the capability of the team, and also like how hard you see them work, right? And that's not always the case, right? I've been in this space for a long time personally and professionally, and you can make subjective judgments on, and we do, like who's going to be around in 10 years, right? And like, are we going to deploy to that ecosystem or not, right? And like, obviously, like we think Monad will be here for much longer than 10 years, and why we spent so much time and energy, behind the scenes to get ready for this launch. So I think it's just early days.
Yeah, I mean, we're fired up. I think of Agora as very similar, or in a very similar vein, where it's
Yeah,
like
we're
you
yeah.
need to solve a real problem, and you need to have the right team that can like see that through all the way. Like it's pretty simple.
Yeah, and I also think like too, right? You guys, probably to the criticism that you guys mentioned, like we got it too, right? It's like, oh well, Tether and Circle exist. All these people have a bunch of money, right? Like,
Yeah.
how are you going to differentiate? And I'm like, okay, well, it's like one on product and team, right? And like actually like serving these customers well. And I think we've done a good job, but it's still so early,
Mhm.
right? Like we're, I said it early on in the live stream, like we're just 2 years in. I like literally like walked out of GC 2 years ago, right? Like it's and we already have a couple hundred million in issuance, and then built 3 different products, like are on 14 different blockchains. And
Mhm.
I'd say a lot of our year one was just like building the infra, right? And building a lot of things behind the scenes. And now we're really ready to go to market in big ways, with partners that we think highly of.
Yeah, and I think that like anytime you actually there is typically an inconsistency between when people talk about what they see as the market size for something and then saying that like it's too late to actually become a real player. Like to use your own example, earlier you said, yeah, you can it's very easy to see stable coins being 10 trillion or 20 trillion dollars in market cap. Um what there's like 300 billion ish
Yeah.
stables in circuit. It's like 1.5% of the market. Like
And a lot of the new
it's
stables
crazy.
will eat Circle and Tether share as well, right? As people demand, rewards or, whatever people want to call it on their
Yeah.
balances. But like maybe even to just give like two examples, right? Because like, you guys are builders, like, we're building our own company too, and you get punched in the mouth a lot, right? Because people love to compare you to like people that have been around for 10 years, right? Like Tether or Ethereum, right? And it's like, look, we're a 2-year-old company doing our best. Like two examples. Like one I actually thought about, and I don't know how big sports fans you guys are this week, but like Baker Mayfield, like
Yeah, dude.
literally like perfect
Epic.
example of this. Like,
MVP.
dude, literally like what has worked so hard, like I'm sure his whole life, but like particularly like the last 5-10 years. In the NFL, like was sort of people were criticizing him left and right, like he was like kicked out of Cleveland, could have ended it there. People were saying, oh, he should just give it up and go coach. And like now he's like could be the MVP of the NFL this year, right? And
He
so like
should be.
so much of like success in life is just like pushing through no matter what. Like, my dad says this a lot as well. He says like he didn't see success in his life until he was like in his mid 40s. Right? Like he started when he joined Van Eck, it was like maybe a billion or less in assets under management. My dad started the ETF business there, when he was like 40 something years old, and now it's gone from like a billion to now I think it's over like 160 billion in AUM. And he's like, I only saw success like the last like 15 years of my life, right? The first like 20 years of my career, I was just working hard. And it's like, then you have that success. And so I think it's, a lot of people are going to be criticize you or I think make bad comps. And like, it's just up to good teams to just continue to push through and build.
It's also got to be just like compounded in crypto because of the fact that you can make like $10 million in being in the right place at the right time for a week on a coin that it has nothing behind it and it's just a total.
Well, like, yeah, we're like an equity business, right? And like, we're like, yeah, I'll use it. Someone made this analogy. He's like, building an equity business versus building like people that are using tokens is like playing with chopsticks and against people that are using bazookas, right? It's like, yeah, like people can launch, a token, and what that really is selling equity in the business. And so, that's why it's like, yeah, you could see a company that's 18 months go from like 0 to a billion, right? But how long lived is that? Like, how deep are their integrations? How good is their tech, right? How embedded is their workflow into other businesses? And so when those incentives run out, like what is going to happen to that, right? And that's applicable for these like tokenized debt products, chains, right? Like DeFi apps. And so, I think it's, you got to focus on product and execution and just compound every single day. And yeah, sometimes it's tough in that environment. And like you guys, I'm sure have, gone through it with Monad, finally about to be on mainnet, but it's early days and you just got to take the long view.
Oh yeah. Well, to the Clippers out there, Nick just shouted out the success story and growth. I think if you're Van Eck intern, you actually have an obligation to engage with the people that are clipping that segment. So if you want some awesome engagement, I would certainly go and farm that for clicks.
Questions and
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Let's hit some community questions. I love the Baker Mayfield shout out. He is on my fantasy team. He deserves to be the MVP. No other quarterback has more than 2 fourth quarter comeback game winning drives, and he has at least 4 already. So he's MVP in my opinion.
Yeah, one interesting question from the community. Shout out the amazing Erich, long time listener, long time question asker. I'm gonna try and rephrase this on the fly. We have 4 perp dexes, 4 AMMs, and a lot of projects supporting AUSD. Will this list be expanded? And are there any particular projects that you would like to see added to the list as soon as possible? So I'm not sure if there's anyone.
Yeah. So
on
there's
the
a bunch more. There's a So both on like I would say the lending side, primarily on the lending side, also on the trading side, the gaming side. I don't know if there's any more perp dexes that are coming to Monad. That's yeah. So I don't think there's any there. Some of which we couldn't announce today because they haven't publicly announced that they're coming to Monad, so we didn't want to steal their thunder. But there's a lot more, I'd say, in-house names that are coming to the ecosystem that we're excited to work with.
Beautiful. Yeah, super excited for that, and I'm sure amazing Erich appreciates the answer as well as the teaser. There's more to come for sure.
This question was flagged by the one a few people wanted to.
Oh, okay. Yeah. USDE depegging for a short period of time last Friday led to even more people getting liquidated since they held their collateral in USDE. How do you think about that situation overall?
Yeah. So obviously, so USDE, right, is like a tokenized hedge fund. It has like a tremendous amount of leverage up against it, right, so that people can enhance their return profile. And so anything that has a lot of leverage is, especially in drawdowns like that, is going to have very wild secondary market price swings, right, which is what you saw on Binance. So there's a few ways to solve for that, right? I think, Chaos and Aave, basically their solution was, okay, peg it against, USDT, which is something that's less, less levered, has a lot more volume, right? And is probably a lot more stable from like a price, short-term price perspective. Because like even though the secondary market price on Binance depegged, Athena had the collateral, right? And so that's like something that's, I think, certainly informing how the Upshift team thinks about Earn USD, right? It's like you need to be really thoughtful about the oracles that you're using and how you're, effectively pricing like potential liquidations on these things. And so, right, using like proof of reserves is something that's very useful, right? Because they had the reserves there, right? So there wasn't an impairment to the collateral, but people were selling USDE very quickly, which led to the secondary price going down on Binance. So it's something that we think a lot about. Our partners that are launching products built on AUSD think a lot about. And frankly, like I think it happening so recently is like it's a good education moment for the industry, right? Just how, a year and a half ago, people may have been unfamiliar with the basis trade. I think the crypto community at large is very familiar with how the basis trade works now. So yeah, it's something that we think about a lot. And obviously, like we work with, all the main, I would say, Oracle providers. We use Chaos for our own proof of reserves for AUSD, and then Chaos for Oracle's, Chainlink, Redstone, so all PIF, all the big guys, and so it's something that we spend a lot of time on.
Beautiful. Probably time for one more, and I'm just curious if there's anything in crypto that you feel is particularly underrated right now, whether it's on the payment side, whether it's one of the upcoming products that you're teasing, or something that you just think on is kind of slept on across the board.
Yeah, so I think something that like hasn't been tapped into, and like this is why like we've always been enterprise facing, is getting businesses on chain.
Yeah.
Right. And so like we're gonna make a lot more announcements about this in Q1, but we're really trying to build like the best product suite from the ground up so that if you are a business, you can come on chain, right, without really realizing it, right? And so, and like the benefits, of using the Agora web app will be instant settlement, right? Real time yield accrual. We'll offer like treasury management that'll funnel into DeFi within the web app, right? And so I think that's a huge unlock that we think about a lot and that hasn't really materialized at all. Right. There's very few traditional businesses, right? Whether you think of like Grab or Uber or Airbnb, all of these multinational corporates could benefit from using, stable coins, in their treasury and for their corporate cash management. And so we want to help them too. And, that's something that I'm really excited about that's untapped. Maybe we do it all on Monad.
First inning would
So-
absolutely love to see that.
Very likely have the lowest fees and the fastest finality. I'm on ad.
Bingo. Absolutely love it.
Just throw the
plug in.
Yeah, why not?
In case anyone wasn't aware, we are going to cut to a quick intermission, and then we will be right back. But hugely appreciative, Nick. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Live on Monad, day one of mainnet. Do not sleep. This is the first inning.
Right?
Oh yeah.
All right, this is the intermission that we talked about.
Check out this new.
This sign, dude. This is such bullshit.
Oh my God.
Some people say crypto is a scam.
Others say it's the future.
We're in a park here in New York City.
And we're gonna find out which side makes a better argument. Crypto's the future, changed my mind.
Well, so I would love to know what you mean by the future, because that can mean a lot of things.
Sure, I think people will use crypto for everyday payments, for a lot of the financial system. I think
Okay.
Crypto protocols are going to become key underlying infrastructure, just like the internet is today.
And the protocols, you're talking like blockchain, you're talking like Web3, like the, okay.
Yeah.
I would say probably not.
I think crypto is a scam. Changed my mind.
It is cryptographic currency, like it's just an exchange of value. I think that the scam part comes in who's holding the power of that value, and a lot of it's a scam, a lot of it.
But you were talking...
Not the actual technology itself.
So what's the technology itself?
It's fucking ludicrous and it won't happen again. And that's what we're going for. We're going to zero.
Blockchain is the technology that powers cryptocurrency. Crypto is just a shortened name for cryptocurrency. And that's just like a digital ledger that's distributed, like decentralized amongst lots of different people on a network, ideally.
Now, if you're talking like underlying bank institutions and stuff?
Yeah.
Right. So that would require, like, for instance, our government to back this as their number one currency as opposed to the dollar, right? You're talking?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you believe that?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. God damn it.
I think there's different variations of how it could play out, essentially.
Right.
For example, like, you have stable coins, which run on crypto rails. They're backed one-to-one in fiat currency.
Right.
So you can still have a US dollar.
Oh, so in your scenario, there is still the US dollar.
Oh yeah, the US dollar can still exist.
So
I think that would
why people change from that then? Like, why would they go to like almost like a middleman between, like if my business takes dollars and yours takes dollars, but we're using this as the back, why would we bother wasting time going to and from crypto?
Do you not think the fiat currency is a scam? In the past 6 months, our dollar has lost 10% of its value. So if you have $100,000 just sitting in your safe, you lost $10,000 worth of its value in the past 6 months alone. If you also consider like how much value of the dollar has been lost in the past like 4 years or ever since the fiat currency like has been created, which is like in the 70s, I think, when they stopped backing dollars on gold, the dollar's value has dropped by like 90 something percent, 99 or whatever percent.
So how is it used outside of then crypto?
There's a lot of different applications for it. I mean, the ones that people know about are cryptocurrency and NFTs.
Say you do business in Venezuela and I do business in the US or vice versa, and we need to send each other money. The way that would work today is probably a wire transfer, which is only possible when the banks are open. Generally takes a couple days to actually clear. There's usually a pretty hefty fee along with that. If you use blockchain as the underlying layer, I can send that money to you nearly instantly.
Very faster than
very,
a couple
very low
days.
fees. No cross-border issues or things like that.
So I feel like there's an underlying structure of almost like resiliency to the former there. Like, you're doing it through a bank not because you love the bank. You're doing it through the bank because there's security in knowing that that transaction is backed by the dollar, by the government. There's insurance on that transaction if something were to go awry. What would be the insurances if I was doing it through the blockchain, right?
A decentralized protocol is more secure than any bank or any system that's controlled by one institution.
Do you think the American dollar is going to eventually be crypto, or how do we ever get to a point where like I can go use it to buy coffee or something like that?
Cryptocurrency can also be used in countries where like it's hard for them to have access to banks, for example.
So I spent a month in El Salvador, and you can literally buy anything in El Salvador with crypto. You could use Bitcoin as legal tender out there. We're already almost there. We're gonna get there soon.
Like, the applications actually could be really good, and that's what got me really interested in it initially. Like, it could be used for verifying voting. A little bit of a topical issue now, you know? Actually making sure that, you know, the person you voted for is the person you voted for.
So again, in your system, the dollar still exists then?
Sure. It can.
It can.
It doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to.
I
It
see
can.
what you're saying. So that's what the future part would be.
To say cryptocurrency itself is a scam is not nuanced enough, in my opinion, because then you're saying the technology itself is a scam. I think some cryptocurrency will be around for a very long time. I mean, it has already. Like, Bitcoin has been around for much longer than most people have known. It has the ability to give power back to people as long as it's properly decentralized.
Yeah, good points. I guess we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sitting down.
No, of course. I genuinely just want to talk to you about it.
I work at a crypto company.
Really?
Which
A layer
blockchain?
one blockchain called
which one?
Monad.
And you think crypto's a scam?
I don't think it's a scam.
Oh, so you're just agreeing with me?
Yeah.
Oh, sick. Oh, what's up?
Yeah, the sign underneath it says crypto is the future. So we're just getting two different perspectives.
Is it the future? It could be.
Bro, read this sign, dude.
All right.
And we are so extremely back on this fine Throughput Thursday. This is Monad in the Morning, episode 34. Hope you all enjoyed the teaser of tomorrow's YouTube video. Is crypto a scam or is it the future? I think the answer is obvious, but we'll see what the consensus is tomorrow when we put out the video on YouTube. For now, we are live here from New York with Mateos, founder of Rumi. Another big announcement went off of the Rumi account this morning. So got to direct all the viewers over to @RumiLabs_IO. Go comment on the announcement tweet. Rumi is coming to Monad. What is Rumi? Who is Mateos? We are going to find out right now. We have the man, the myth, the legend in person with us on Monad in the Morning. Mateos, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Great to be here. I think for a lot of our viewers, this is probably their first introduction to Rumi. It is not my first introduction. I've had some alpha behind the scenes and the opportunity to check out the product, which has had me really excited for the past couple months. So really excited that the announcement is live. For anyone who maybe is not aware of Rumi yet, can you give a little high level overview of what the product is?
Yeah, of course. So Rumi, we're a pre-seed startup. We raised almost 5 million, led by A16Z Crypto, CSX, and Escape Velocity, EV3, and a bunch of amazing angels from top AI agent platforms, viewership analytics companies, generally the future partners and clients of Rumi. We finished Orange DAO, we finished CSX, so made it to both of the programs, which have like 1 to 2% acceptance rate. Since then, we've been building the product that you can already check at rumi.io. Maybe starting with the vision, what we're building is decentralized infrastructure for AI-powered media and contextual advertising. So we're creating the future in which any video, any piece of content becomes interactive, becomes customizable and shoppable. It matters because right now people spend like 3 to 5 hours a day watching content, and it's very passive time. We intend to turn it into something more engaging, more meaningful. I can talk later about the use cases. But to do that, to enable this type of future, we first need to index all of the media content. It's millions of hours of content that people interact with across platforms such as streaming platforms like Netflix, HBO, TV, YouTube, TikTok, and so on. So to do that, we've launched a decentralized network for indexing content. From the user perspective, it's a Chrome extension that anyone can download at rumi.io, and it's basically watch to earn. Like really simplify it. You download it, install, and that's it. Whenever you go watch Netflix, YouTube, you're just earning points while contributing your spare compute to run our AI models locally on your device. So that's basically what's happening. Through that, we are building the richest media knowledge base in the world. For comparison, typical script of the movie would have 1 page of text per minute of video. We are collecting several pages of data per second of video. So those transcripts are then sent to our servers, and the other thing that we're getting from users is hashed audio of the video that they're watching. So it's basically what Shazam did for music. We're doing the same thing for video content. Hashing the audio, you cannot retrieve original audio from it, so it can get back to our servers without any IP violation. And this allows agents in the future to recognize content. And then after they recognize content and have access to this super rich database, they're able to interact with it, personalize it, allow people to shop items that they see in the content and so on. Like imagine interacting with agent on X or any other application on your phone while watching TV. You'll be able to ask any question to that content. Like, hey, I don't remember this character from season 1. And what would happen, we would catch the snippet of audio from TV without any integration, hash it without any audio leaving your device, and we would know that, oh, you're watching Squid Game season 2, you're at this episode, you're at this second. We know exactly what's happening there. We're able to answer your question.
Got it. Okay, so this is clearly an ambitious product. It's starting as for the user or the consumer, starting as basically watch to earn, because you and the team need to index a massive amount of content, a massive amount of data to basically enable some of these features and applications that become the long-term Roomy app. But for starters, it's like, okay, go install the Chrome plugin and basically get paid for the time that you're already spending, monetize that time you're already spending watching content, whether that's Netflix or potentially live TV or YouTube, anything in between. And then the long-term version of this is making the content more interactable, to your point. So you can ask, who's this character? I forget who this person is. And get that information about the content, the character. Then you can make it customizable. Can you speak to like how could the content that I'm watching become customizable for me as a viewer?
Yeah, let's say for kids content. I assume nobody here has. I don't know if you guys have kids.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Okay. So like my co-founder has like 2 3-year-old twins, and he really hates when they're just glued to TV, like watching Bluey or Peppa Pig like a zombie. What with Roomy, you can actually bring that content to life. You can ask Roomy to, hey, bring the Peppa Pig to interact with the kids while they're watching, testing them on the concepts from the show live as they happen, like having full contextual awareness. So you can make the content more educational in this case. Say you're watching a football game. Instead of just listening to the commentary that is given by default, you can ask to bring your favorite player to life and just talk to you about what they're doing at this very moment on the field. You can bring any character to life, like see different perspective, change narratives, but also in the future, you'll be able to adjust video itself as the video generation models become more and more powerful. We've seen what's possible now with Sora 2, but it's only just beginning. But AI really needs deep understanding of the story, everything what is happening live contextually to modify content in a way that will be compelling to users.
Well,
Yeah.
well, one of the things that I was gonna mention is like, I guess this is probably happening already, but I imagine like what you're doing is going to make even just explore pages and things improved, because rather than looking at whole channels, you're able to analyze algorithmically like what is it this person is truly viewing, and individualize each video to that specific person.
Exactly.
It
Yeah.
does with like the new Sora app that I've been playing with that, and I find that it's incredibly interesting and different because you're generating things and putting yourself in all of this content, and then it's learning like, is it what you're doing, is that gonna be similar to where you could put yourself in it, or it's just literally changing the what you're watching to kind of react to you.
Yeah, that's also that's also going to be possible with Romy when again video generation models become strong enough. But we can do it on IP protected content as just happening on your device. So let's say the kid is watching a cartoon and they want to be part of the story with their friends, so you can like modify the video within that IP and see a different version of it. So yeah, like we believe that content will be very much personalizable. Even things that I talk to some people who watch certain shows, they're not interested in certain subplots, but very interested in others. Right now, like, yeah, it's like the same thing for everyone. But with Rumi, like understanding, okay, this is what I don't really care about. You can basically just display the things that user is interested in, because we know like we know exactly what's happening where, and extend the narratives. So we believe that it will ultimately help content creators, media companies increase engagement and also increase monetization.
Sure. And that's basically like the story of the evolution of visual media over the past 50, 60, 75 years.
Yeah.
And that's what gets me most excited about Rumi, even rewinding back to our first conversation, because I could see the vision is to really disrupt the way that media is presented and consumed today. And that we've already seen like several iterations of that, you know, going from TV, cable TV as like the primary medium of video consumption, where you have, you know, whatever options are on the channels on that current time. You're being fed the ads on the ad breaks. Then, you know, the internet comes around and all of a sudden you have things like Netflix, where you don't have to go to the theater to watch a movie at a particular time or turn on the TV to watch it on you know, whatever channel at 7:30 p.m. You can get that that DVD or that VHS even mailed to your house. And then internet comes along, you get you know, all these streaming platforms where people are watching the shows that they want to watch at the particular time, binging season after season. And now you have this next generation of content that meets the viewer where they're at and really optimizes for the ways that they want to engage in media. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for people to actually understand the scale of your vision, the team's vision, because it is ultimately this net new primitive that starts with watch to earn, but ultimately has the potential to revolutionize how we see media today.
Yeah, we are in a way creating a new market here. People spend so much time consuming that content, and it generally makes us pretty lazy. We want to change that. Like the mission is to fuel people's creativity and curiosity. People are curious generally, but like what in the past, when you had to go to library to get an answer to your question, like very few people would do that. Then we got Google, then we got LLM, so it's so easy to get answers. Similarly with content that we're watching, like people want to go deeper, but it's so hard. Like if you want to get any type of enrichment, go deeper, ask question, verify something. Like the information might be there, but it's so scattered, it requires so much effort. So we're eliminating all of that friction. Like imagine just you're just talking to content from now on and like asking it to do things for you without providing any context. So we believe that this will make people way more curious and creative what they can do with content.
It's almost like I think a lot of this new meta, the way that things are moving, is it's turning a lot of people into creators, because you're essentially just creating the vision and the things that you want to see, and that is resonating with you immediately. And it's really interesting, because like I know there's another company that is working on something where you can essentially, like, if you don't like the ending of a movie,
Yes.
you can instantly just change it, or you could put yourself, like, I don't like that the dad died, and then you can just change it. And I think we're gonna see, yeah, I don't know. It's a different
Yeah.
world, but it becomes, I almost feel like more addicting too, because of the fact that like it's so much more personalized. So yeah, I guess how do you feel I know you just said that you're focused on trying to make us less lazy with it by getting
Yeah.
information. How do you see that
I think
diverging?
it is about ultimately about increasing our imagination. I think imagination, creativity, curiosity, and compassion will be like the most critical things for the age of AI that we're entering. I believe that people who are curious, creative, compassionate, like understand stories of others and their own stories, which we're also helping with for this product, they will thrive in the age of AI. They will really like those tools give us superpowers if
Yeah.
we have motivation to use them, if we have imagination. Without it, it might be rough.
I think an obvious question, given today's announcement, Rumi coming to Monad, is why, like, why is the crypto component
Mhm.
really important here? Why build this on blockchain rails?
Right, right. Yeah, so I've been in crypto for a few years. I was leading business development. I was COO at Omni Network. Now they rebranded to Nomina. So I saw a lot happening in crypto, and like frankly, after I left, I just wanted to focus on AI. I was in AI before. So when we started working on Rumi with my co-founder, we're looking for ways not to make it crypto. But we quickly realized we cannot. That like actually this is a perfect use case for blockchains. Um, are most likely the only way to do what we're doing. For two reasons. First one is cost efficiency, but the other even more important is IP, access to IP. So first of all, for a startup at our stage to do such complex compute running vision language models on millions of hours of content on the cloud, that would bankrupt us very, very fast. It's way more efficient to use decentralized network, and it's a win-win because people watch this content anyway. They're not really using their compute power, so just have Rumi run in the background. You don't even notice it's happening. You're helping us just transcribe the data. You're earning for it, and it's efficient from our perspective. But then the second more important argument is about access to all of that content. So this is media content, streaming content, even the richest big tech companies, AI labs, they cannot really access it and index it at this level of granularity. Their knowledge about content is just based on metadata, whatever is available online. But to do what we're doing, they would have to go to all of these IP owners and acquire those video files with permission to do this type of work. But those deals are not happening and are very unlikely to happen because OpenAI, Google, they all train video generation models on that. And basically create existential threats to IP owners. So this content is out of reach for them. We realize that with decentralized network, we can index the content at the level of granularity we need, because again, it's done by independent parties, and we, as Rumi, never touch actual content. We never touch any IP, any video frames, audio. We never share anything. Nothing is ever rebroadcasted, and we don't train video generation models on that. So we're not, the only thing that we're getting is the hash that you cannot retrieve original audio from. It was Shazam's case that you can do that, and the transcripts. There were also like multiple legal cases that you can transcribe video however you want, IP protected content, and publish it. So these are the only things that we're getting on our servers. And we're not even publishing it. We're using it to help IP owners get this deeper connection with the audiences, rather than doing what centralized AI labs are doing, which is creating existential threat. We are actually giving them opportunity for the first time ever to directly connect with the audiences when they're the most engaged. And you increase engagement. This is what all of these companies care about the most, right? They want to increase engagement. They want to get feedback. They want to know how to make the content better. And they, of course, want to increase monetization. So this is what we're enabling. And people are second screening all the time right now. Like when they're on TV, they're on their phone as well constantly, especially younger generations. So instead of that attention going away to TikTok or X and mindless scrolling, we want to enable connecting with this content deeper. People are clearly not getting what they want from content. And a lot of them, and especially on some fan franchises or sports, like NFL actually has, there was this awesome article about how NFL fans interact with content outside of what they see on the screen. Like vast majority of them go deeper, search for insights, different perspectives, extra content creators. They're shopping around content, gaming around content. But again, it's super scattered across hundreds of websites, applications, hard to find, incomplete, full of spoilers. So we want to eliminate all of the friction and allow for this deeper connection with content.
You know, every time my dad watches a documentary, he's always like, how real, or it's like this movie is based on a true story. He's always Googling at the same time
Yes.
as like, what part of this is real? What part,
Yeah.
how much of it is made up? And
Yeah.
I think that's a cool addition where you can literally just, you're still engaged in
Yep.
the film or whatever. But I also noticed, like, I think Amazon does it where if you're watching on Amazon Prime and you pause it at the bottom, it'll show you
X-ray.
all that, yeah, all the
Yep.
actors that are in that particular scene, which is kind of cool because then sometimes you want to like look back and
I mean, even the video that you spent the majority of this week editing, Jessup, it's the one that we just premiered on the intermission. We sat down in the park and we got two sides of crypto haters, crypto enthusiasts, and we knew like people are going to wonder, oh, is this true? Like, is this fact checked? So, Jessup manually spent quite a bit of time identifying those moments that we're anticipating people to have questions, and then answering those questions in advance with a little cutaway on screen. With something like Rumi, that not only is applied to a video like this, but it's just all of the content that
Yeah.
you're consuming, which is really cool, especially in today's world of fake news and deep fakes and all of this misinformation that people can't figure out what's real, what's right, what's true, and what's
Yeah,
not.
exactly. Like one of the use cases I've been talking a lot about is like live fact checking of presidential debate. Let's say
Sure.
you're watching that and you're like, hey, Rumi, just give me the narrative, like fact check what they're talking about live. Yeah, like I did the same, like you mentioned your dad. Like I was watching Gladiator 2 recently and I was like, yeah, like what is historically accurate here? Like I was checking it all the time. It's hard to get this information with Rumi. It's just there. And yeah, X-ray, like what we're doing is like X-ray on steroids, right? Like so
Yeah.
we're the Amazon feature. So yeah, you can just adjust what do you want. If you want to overlay over your video with some additional information that you're interested in, like for example, yeah, like give me trivia, give me the most interesting comments from other fans about it.
Yeah.
Give me fact checking live. Show me like who these actors are. Always remind me who the character is. You can customize it however you want.
And you brought up like the double screening. Would it be something that like if I'm watching it on TV, it would show up on the TV, or like I would use a second screen or not? Yeah.
Yeah, for now it depends on the integration. So we're in early days, we're assuming we're not going to integrate with TVs because of course that's quite a hurdle. So for now it's going to be on the other app. We're building our own app, like first ever AI remote. But also this infrastructure is going to be open to third parties. So any agent can use it within any other app, whether these are companion apps like NFL app or Love Island, this reality TV. They recently launched their app, which was like extremely basic. With Rumi, it could be like so much more engaging. So these type of builders can use it, but also agents that you interact with across any platform, socials, and so on.
So somebody like Love Island could almost white label it and then just integrate Rumi.
They could just call our APIs and make the app 100 times better than it is now.
That's fantastic from a distribution perspective. You're just meeting the consumer where they're at. And on the crypto component specifically, there's two things that I really liked about your answer there. One is that there wasn't, this like has to be built on top of blockchain rails for it to work in the desired way. And I think the main criticism of apps in crypto over the past couple of years is like this doesn't need to be built on crypto rails. Now we're seeing many more use cases where it actually is imperative that the system run on top of blockchain rails because it's more efficient, because it's more distributed. And because that is the case, because Rumi can be most successful on blockchain, I think it really is fitting that the crypto natives kind of have the first opportunity to discover Rumi and get really excited about it and contribute to its growth and success firsthand via the indexing opportunity. Just running that Chrome plugin in the background while you're watching the content that you're already watching gives you a means to, like we said, monetize off of the content that you're already watching, but also to become an early contributor and an early user of the Rumi experience, which will undoubtedly grow and evolve with time. Couldn't be more excited about that aspect. I'm gonna have to get the Chrome plugin fired up pretty soon. And on that note, what can the community expect from Rumi in the coming weeks, months, or even right now if they want to get involved?
Yeah, of course. So right now on our website, rumi.io, you're going to find the beta. We are actually launching early access V1 of the application that already runs some AI models for audio indexing within the next few days. So please check us out on rumilabs_io. And yeah, it's any day now that you'll be able to participate in the early access for V1. In 2 weeks, in around 2 weeks, we're planning bigger public launch with vision language models running on the network. So that's going to be another opportunity for people to get involved, especially people who has like more stronger machines. This will definitely be a way bigger opportunity for people to earn. And along that, we're going to be launching with Monad's testnet. So we're going to have some cool campaigns around that and extra rewards for the community. And soon after, as soon as Monad is ready, the mainnet. And there again, we're cooking some great stuff, great collaboration around that with Monad Momentum and some other initiatives. So
Bingo. There's a lot coming. This is really exciting stuff, and it is extremely fitting given that we are live on the internet right now. Within a couple weeks, people will be able to start indexing Monad in the morning, right?
that's right.
Start fact checking
That's
Danny.
right.
Yeah, start fact checking me and Kevin and everyone else that that we have on here, and eventually running that AI companion app, and maybe even inserting yourself up here on the counter for Mana in the morning as an AI guest. That's pretty cool. We are coming up on time here, but want to leave the floor open in case you have anything else to shout out. But once things really start going here, we'll have to get you back on and unpack, maybe even do a live demo or something at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. No, just want to repeat the invitation to check out our app, rumi.io. Follow us. We're only just starting, so go there, be early. And yeah, I'm very excited and thankful for the support from Monad. We're very excited to soon be on testnet, mainnet, and yeah, work together in the future.
Couldn't be more excited on our end as well. This is something that, like I said, caught my attention at least 6-8 months ago when we first had our initial chats, and so it's awesome to see. Rollout is just beginning, but there is certainly a lot to come. So if you are early enough that you are seeing Rumi on Monad in the morning today, do not sleep. Go follow them on Twitter. Go check out the website, install the Chrome plugin, and get ready to go, because Rumi is the next generation of visual media, and there's a lot to come. So really exciting stuff. And Mateus, really appreciate you taking the time to join us today. I'm sure the community is as well.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Awesome. Pleasure.
We're gonna go
Thank you,
to
guys.
another break.
Brief intermission, and then we will be back with lever.bet. Last but not least by any means, stick with us. Monad in the morning. And we are back on our longest ever Monad in the Morning stream. Last but not least, on today's episode, we have a guest who is long overdue. He is extremely well known in the Monad community circles, but pretty soon the entirety of crypto and the sports betting world is going to know him and the product he is behind. Welcome, Mr. Blue, CEO of Lever.bet.
Hey, Danny. Great to be here. Thank you for having me. Congratulations on the airdrop claim week. Everything looks like it's going smooth. Was really excited to get in today.
It's a big week and a great week to have you on as well. There's lots of exciting stuff in the pipeline. NFL season is in full swing. I honestly doubt there's any viewer that has not heard of Leverbet at this point, but just in case there's one or two, can you give us like 30-second super high level overview? What is Lever?
So we allow you to take leverage on your favorite bet type. So think of if you want to take on the Bengals versus the Steelers tonight, the old man bowl in the NFL. You want to go and you want to bet money line. I'm guessing the Steelers are favorites. The Bengals are probably not. You can go and you can bet between 2, 3, 4, or 5x leverage. Basically multiplies your bet size, and then you get the winnings that come with that multiplier. So if you we're gonna win $100, you're now gonna win 2, 3, 4, or $500. The flip side of that coin is that you have a liquidation threshold. So throughout the course of the game, your team that or your bet type can only fall below a certain set of odds, and if it does, then it'll get liquidated, right? And so our real aim with this is to let users bet less and win more.
Well, it's a beautiful ambition, and it's certainly going to increase, I think, increase the sweatiness of a lot of sports bettors game watching experiences. Where did you get the idea for Lever?
So, true story. I'm sitting in my co-founder's basement. We're watching baseball games, probably September, August of 2022. I don't know if you can rewind your brain back to that time, but Minius DGen was operating on GMX, right? And
Yes.
so I'm literally trading ETH on GMX on leverage, watching like a Pirates game or something, right? And I just kept thinking to myself, like, why can't I take leverage on a bet, right? Why can't I go in and put $100 down, and then if throughout the course of the game the baseball team gets down by 5 or 6 runs, my bet's knocked, and I think I would take that bet, right? And so I tried to convince the quant team from our co-founder's sports betting fund to help me design and build this out. And here we are a few years later, and we're sitting on Monad Testnet, happy and with a product that's quite addicting, right? You said sweat earlier. I don't think I've ever sweat more than playing on Lever, also betting on props and doing fantasy and watching the game of my favorite team, which is the Dallas Cowboys. Unfortunate for me. Man, it's just like there's only so much a guy can handle, right? So we think we've got lightning in a bottle, and we're excited to bring it to the world on Monad.
Yeah, it's a fitting time as well, right? Like sports betting has absolutely exploded. Regulation seems like it's been a bit more friendly over the past couple years, and certainly everyone I know that watches sports is often talking just as much about betting as they are talking about what's actually happening in the game or the contest. So making that more immersive, yeah, decreasing the intensity or like the time that people are waiting for that payout, or maybe a disappointment if they're on the losing end of that is certainly going to make the content more engaging, right? Like that's the biggest criticism of baseball. Nothing happens, you have to watch the whole game, and then typically it's all the action happening in like the eighth or the ninth inning.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 5 minutes of action in a baseball game for however much time you're watching it, right?
Right.
So the baseball is a little rough, but with Lever, it makes it a little bit more fun. I actually think we're at this really interesting inflection point in markets in general, where you see stuff like the proliferation of online sports betting to the nth degree, especially here over the last 4 or 5 years, right? As you're saying, it's just synonymous with any form of sports now. The leagues themselves are pushing ESPN Bet or MGM or whatever it is on the advertising on the field. They have partnerships and whatnot. So it's very, very progressed into this really hand in hand thing with the different leagues. And then you also have the proliferation of crypto products getting to the forefront of retail mind and stuff like prediction markets with Polymarket. And then obviously not super crypto, unless you're counting crypto Twitter influencers, but Kalshi as well, right? And so we look at that, and we actually, and here's a little alpha I'll drop for you on the Monet in the morning. We're starting to view ourselves as a lot less just a sports betting leveraged product and a lot more an event-based leveraged product. So because of the design of our system, it works really, really well on top of prediction market bets. The space isn't mature enough yet, in our opinion, to really launch into that. So we can beachhead in sports betting and get really established there to go into the next phase. But I see a world in the future where these products all commingle. And with the way regulations are going right now, if there's a will, there's a way, right? It seems like. And so for me, I'm excited to see what this all looks like 5 or 10 years from now. And at Lever, we look at ourselves in a prime position to offer leverage as a layer to just about anything that has event-based contracts.
That is super cool and super logical at the same time. Um, was there ever a question as to whether you could build this on crypto or off chain? Like, was that even a debate going back to 2022, 23 in the basement with the
Oh gosh,
quants?
man, that's a good question, Danny. Yeah, there definitely was. And so The main point of emphasis that I think we captured right away is being I'm tangentially connected to the casino industry. One of our co-founders is heavily connected there. And so he understands pretty well kind of what the funding mechanisms are there. And if you look at the design of our system, we need a pooled liquidity vault that then backs the positions, right? It's not a short for every long type of perp product, right? We're much more of a pooled liquidity system. And so with that comes the need for millions and millions of dollars in TVL to facilitate hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars in liquidity on a market by market basis for us. We can't get that just from like having a white paper and a mildly working product and going into the market of sports betting, right? It's really, if you're looking to use a pooled liquidity system, which I think was really proven and pioneered in past products like aforementioned GMX, right? If you're going to use that system, it kind of works best with the crypto users who already understand it. They understand the risk to reward to providing liquidity into one of these products for revenue trade-off and that sort of thing. And then we also looked really, really heavily at the fact that we're going to be liquidating users for the first time ever on sports bets. And I don't trust casinos. Do you trust a casino?
No.
Jessup, trust a casino?
No way.
Okay. So you probably are going to trust them even less when they're liquidating you.
Yeah.
Right. And so
Sure.
to have the liquidations be provably fair also, we thought was a good jumping off point as establishing the bet type itself as proven and trustworthy. Right. And so for those reasons, mainly there's a host of a variety of other ones, right? But for those two reasons mainly, we were like, this has got to be a Web3 product first.
Yeah. We've had 3 different teams come on today and basically say that their product is only possible or works best if it's built on top of blockchain. And that's like, relatively new sentiment. We haven't heard that, in the wake of FTX or 2023. But now it seems like people are really waking up, whether it's on the stable coin side of things like Agora or content indexing and whatnot with Roomy and now leveraged sports betting. Like there are now many use cases where building things on chain is more efficient and just ultimately better for the end user than building off chain.
It's so exciting, Danny, because I think what we're really seeing now is what you want to see, which is building on chain is just a better option for the builder.
Right.
Right. Like we all live in a crypto Twitter, like blockchain bubble, right? If you're watching this show, I got news for you. You're in the bubble, right? And so shout out mom, you're there. Right. And so with that, we see everything from this like Web3 blockchain lens. At the end of the day, it should feel a lot more like Polymarket than it should Hyperliquid, right? You should be able to just log in with an email, not understand what's on the back end of the product. Everything just works. If you want it to be proven that it's trustworthy to some degree, there's facilities to help you do that,
Sure.
right? And it is also the best choice for the builders on the back end, right? And so we look at it with this skewed vision, but in reality, this is like, is a builder choosing to do React versus some other language, right? Or what are you putting in your back end? We nerd out on it a little bit, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But it is getting to this, and this is another exciting point where I was talking about the inflection of stuff, right? Like again, shout out Polymarket, where it's just the best prediction market. It's not the best on-chain prediction market, right? And so when you start getting products that are out like that, that's I think where we bridge the final gap of blockchain becoming mainstream, is when it's not just a niche thing that we're building these tools for ourselves to go jump around in this pool, but it's the best way to build the product.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously clear that you guys have thought about the onboarding experience quite a bit, whether you're crypto native, not crypto native, really making it as accessible as possible. Um, and like it's undoubtedly true that there's some overlap between crypto degens and sports betting degens. Like there's, definitely overlap. For those who are maybe not crypto native and spend more time on the sports betting side of the coin, how are you thinking about user acquisition? How are you thinking about getting them onto Lever, getting the Lever app in front of them?
So there's a lot of moving parts there. I'd say first things first, you have to understand that our V2 system, shout out devs, is going to be account based, right? So it's no longer a wallet interaction system. It's, you sign for it and now you can one click bet. So that's in an effort to make the product ready for retail users who aren't going to understand that I need to approve a transaction and
Sure.
yada yada, right? You also have to work with great companies like Privy, who have really good wallet infrastructure. Shout out our boys at Privy, where they can do account abstraction and have email sign-ons, social sign-ons, that type of thing, right? So you have to have good infrastructure to abstract away the blockchain components on the product and just make, especially on like an easy mode, for us, it's mobile retail mode, to make it look and feel very much like something they're used to.
Sure.
Then you go into the acquisition front of it. And I think that also has to be forward facing into the product itself and not into, hey, come for a token reward or come for because it's on Monad or on XYZ, it's on Solana, right? Or users don't care about that. They want a functional, solid product that works really well. And so we look at stuff like social shares is something big we're going to be adding soon, where if you win, you can immediately social share it. We'll couple that with a referral program that's going to be upcoming. So users that share that referral or just have acquisition channels to begin with can start using the referral program to gain revenue from the referees that they bring into the system, right? We look at stuff like in-person event organizations, on pitch advertisement on sports, really much more traditional kind of manners to get users in there, right? But then in the background, don't get it twisted, we're still running a bunch of Web3 stuff, right? We want to go use our Web3 partners, which I'm not going to name lest our marketing guy, TV, in the other room smack me when I get out of here. Can't give away all the sauce, everybody. Sorry. But we use, a variety of metrics to get in users that are well known in crypto to be sports bettors or casino guys that attend casinos and will place bets, right? And so for us, it's all sorts of stuff, but there's definitely like you have to focus on and understand that retail doesn't know crypto.
Sure.
Right. So come to them where they're at.
I personally have a abysmal track record with sports betting, like so bad. And
let's get you signed up twice, Danny.
Well, I think it's gonna have to be like 3 or 4 times. Like, but one of the interesting things is like having spent so much time in crypto, there's this mindset of like, I'm not gonna take what I perceive to be significant risk if I think the upside is a 50% gain or a 2x max. And in traditional sports betting, unless you're taking out some like crazy parlay, you just don't have that opportunity for the most part. And with how efficient these casinos and sports betting operations are at making sure that they don't lose their shirts, it is often the better that is left unprofitable at the end of the day. So I think especially for those who have really spent time in crypto and brought out their degen side, I think this is going to be like a pretty compelling opportunity where you're able to crank up that leverage and see what happens. Sure, you're taking more risk with it, but also the intensity and the payout is potentially that much higher.
Yeah, I mean you're right on, right? So let's look at the camera here. Give me the camera. Which one am I looking at? Right, I'll go right there. So if you sports bet, I challenge you to go back into your app and see how many of your most previous bets were parlays or prop bets or parlays of a prop bet versus just a straight money line, an over under, or a handicap, right? And the reason for this is exactly what Danny just said. You want a 5 or a 10x on your money. You want to turn $50 into $400, right? Well, uh, when you make those parlays, you're not getting risk adjusted odds for it, right? The more legs of your parlay that you take, the more the casino is eating into your profit, the worse it is for you. And so the way that we've tried to design our system is to give better odds and better risk adjusted spreads to the user on a 5x bet than on like a 5-leg parlay, right? And so what we hope to see happen beyond just users taking the leverage bets is trade them in game. If you're in profit, get out of it, sell that position to somebody else, right? So active in V2, shortly after its launch will be our in-game trading mechanism. Right now, you can just cash out, right? If you're in profit, cash out. I don't know how many other people do this. I hardly ever ride a parlay till the end of the game, right? If I'm sitting in good, if I make a sixth leg and my fifth leg is good, I'm cashing, bro. Give me my 5x,
Yeah.
right? I don't need my 20. I'll take the 5x so that I know I can capture the 5x, right?
Sure.
So I think when you give people liquidity on their position, you give them an leverage so that they can make more money, and then you try and provide the best odds that you can across the board on everything that you offer. That is a recipe to have really good outcomes for the users. Granted, we're still a casino. People are going to lose money, right? Bets are going to get liquidated. People aren't going to choose the right bet. But the goal is to have, when you win, your bet go further.
Sure. Yeah. Good question from the community. Shout out Mirth Mono, legendary question asker. Mirth Mono asks about the support for different leagues and different sports, and I think this is a pretty timely question given this is the time of year that athletics really start to heat up. You've got baseball postseason, you've got NFL, college football, NBA. And Mirth Mono asks, NFL is fun. Any thoughts on college football? And also, are there issues with amateur sports? So I think more broadly, just how do you think about supporting new leagues, new contests with time?
So there's two things going on here. We're going to add a bunch of new sports, but we made the choice to wait to add the new sports until they're added into V2 versus delaying V2 to add in more sports to V1.
Sure.
Right? Because they're really separate products. And so once we have V2 going, it's fairly benign, maybe 2-week process for us to add the sport in on the stack. It takes a while to backtest, right? So we have to backtest our liquidation thresholds, and we really, for like money line stuff, we figure out what are the ranges of odds that we can accept. We have to know at what health factor we have to liquidate said sports on said bet types, that type of stuff. But theoretically, if we have like NFL, we can do college football, right? If we have MLB, we could do Korean League baseball, that type of thing, right? So what we hope to have is every sport that has enough volume to where we feel safe offering their lines on a league by league basis. So think of like, we'll have Champions League, we'll have Premier League, we'll have Bundesliga, we'll have Serie A, right? Like all the major soccer leagues we should be able to pull off. Again, here I'll drop some more alpha. We have a 3 token model that we are in deep end of development with right now to handle draw in soccer as well, right? So you'll not just be able to bet team A or team B, you'll also be able to bet draw on leverage in the same system that you're used to right now, right? So eventually we'll have everything that we can get the data for that has enough data for us to backtest, run successfully the liquidation engine, and then also can have a large enough market size to where we don't think it's going to get exploited because we've now added leverage to it. And that goes not just for sports, but we can do that with stuff like the US election, right? That type of stuff. And it just has to be a big enough market size with enough data.
Well, I mean, that begs another question. Beyond sports, how do you think about adding new events? Like, what's going to be the priority? I would obviously imagine that the things we see trending most popularly on prediction markets are going to be a logical fit off the bat. But curious, like, what that will look like from a rollout standpoint, and then also like what the longer term vision for that is.
So we're not really like, we know big markets can be handled, right? So a really good example of this is the US election, right? Even the midterms would probably work, but the presidential election is too big for some, like we can safely create a leverage market on that. A bad example of this would be like the markets that were out for Monad's airdrop, right? Because there's just too much chance for insider information or exploit versus the size of the market that we can create and then the fees that we would generate for it. So when we roll out into things other than sports, the number one consideration will be market size on, like, let's say a prediction market, and then market manipulation ability with stuff like how we want to make sure that we really are bringing the leverage to markets that have very, very low chance, if all, hopefully no chance of being exploited. Right.
Sure.
And then we also need the data. Again, data, right? So like one of the cool things that we were recently in Vegas for a gaming convention, and we're meeting with our odds providers, and they're now integrating prediction markets, right? One of the cool things that I didn't touch on when you asked me how we created this and why the blockchain and whatnot, that I forgot to mention, is we also couldn't have created this in like 2020. The data feeds were not there from the data providers for us to be able to build this out. We just lucked into the fact that they had everything set up about the time we needed it. Right? With gambling, I'd rather be lucky than right every single time.
Sure, 100%. And honestly, that's a common theme that I've heard from many builders, which I think, like, is it really the most exciting narrative that's going to go viral on Twitter? Probably not, but it is actually really meaningful to realize just how much work has been done behind the scenes on the infrastructure, on the Oracle, on the data side of things over the past 4 or 5 years. That now you have products that were previously not possible on chain, now fully possible, fully on chain.
Yeah, I mean, dude, 5 years ago, it was like what you had a handful of chain link feeds and some pith feeds that were like the exact same stuff, right? I mean, when we started asking Oracle providers, shout out every Oracle provider, we love you, but it is what it is. We started asking for push data on our feeds that we wanted to create, and we wanted to obfuscate the API keys from being publicly available, right? So that we could make sure that nobody else has our data streams for it. It was just like super difficult, right? Just not there yet, hey, holler at us in a little bit type of thing.
Yeah.
As a builder, what you don't do most of the time is you don't look around and go like, what are these products of third parties that I'm going to need to key into to actually make this thing work, right? You're so busy and caught up on my awesome idea that you just like, oh, everything else is just there for me. I guarantee it, right? Might have to get your hands a little bit more dirty than you thought you were going to.
Fair enough. I definitely want to take some more questions from the community, and as you probably know, towards the end of Monad in the Morning shows, we spin the prize wheel for those who ask great questions, made great clips, great contributions to this week's show. And we've got a couple lever related prizes on
Yes,
the
we
wheel
do,
this week.
Danny.
We have PSP, which is the testnet token that allows you to bet on lever, so you can get your testnet account funded, get off and running during the late innings of lever on Monad
Still room to
testnet.
cack up that leaderboard. In your best
Leaderboard?
interest to do so. That's all I can say.
Well, that's probably enough, or it should be at least. So we've got PSP on the wheel today, and I was talking with TB, and I asked him. I said, any cool prizes? We always ask our guests, and he dropped some alpha to me. I don't know if it's been shared publicly.
I don't know if you can see the smile through my face here.
Yeah, I don't want to steal your thunder, so I'll let you leak it if you want. I don't know if it's been
No,
published
go ahead.
Lever jerseys. Lever.bet jerseys.
So we will be giving away, and just to be clear here, I don't know what TV told everybody. He's telling me like 1 million PSP. Fuck that. 5 million PSP.
Oh, wow.
And we'll do a jersey per winner.
Wait, per winner?
No. So whoever spins the wheel, if whatever, like, we got jerseys, man. I got jerseys for you. We'll send out up to, let's call it 10 jerseys.
Wow. Holy cow. This is I'm gonna make this claim because I know it's true. This is definitely our most generous prize contribution to the Monad in the Morning wheel, besides maybe James's car. This is
Nobody gets a jersey unless I see that you're following Lever.
Fair.
very, very extremely fair. And before we get into a couple more community questions and some spins of the wheel, what should people do if they want to learn more about Lever, if they want to try the app on testnet, or if they want to onboard a friend that's maybe not in crypto but is big into sports betting? Where should they go? What should they follow?
Absolutely, first place you got to go to is levr.bet. That's just the straight website. Go check out the app, place some bets. If you're looking to stay up to date with the latest and greatest on us, best two places are our X account at levr_bet.
It's right on the
Right,
screen.
I'm sure it's
All you
like
have to do is go like this.
right here, right? And then also our Discord. And if you're actually looking to get a hold of us, I'd say the best place is also the Discord, opening like a support ticket or just trying to holler at us in DMs on Twitter. We'll answer, right? We're pretty friendly guys with stuff.
One thing I really love as well is the logo and the branding. Like it's all over your face and head, but it's very cool. Like very
We're
obvious
fond of
brand
it.
placement. You got the chart lines on there. Clear homage to leverage and liquidations. Where did that come from?
Oh man. So for let's call it like 3 or 4 months, we had like the worst logo that me and the CTO designed, just like ad hoc in Illustrator or
Yeah.
something, right? It was terrible. And so after we got in, I think it was the first check we got in, right? I was like, dude, the very first thing we got to do here is make sure that we don't just look like absolute trash, and it's not going to be either one of us. So I think we hired a designer for, a few $100, like right out the gate, and had a rough idea of what we wanted. And then we did a full rebrand after we got in our actual like main design team. So shout out Mel. I don't think she's listening, but she worked with me and TB on a bunch of different logos, right? Gave us probably 50 different options over the course of a few weeks, and I was overruled on like a handful of the ones that definitely we shouldn't have done, thankfully. And this was just the one that like we went with, where we wanted it to be simple, just the word of the name, right? And so I don't know, I think it works. And then as we've kind of had it now for a while, I've really grown to love it more and more, right? And like my favorite thing about our branding is the purple green offset of like the two colors, right? Where
Yeah.
we took a lot of time, we're like, we can't have red be like the extra color, right? Nobody's going to want to be the red side of a trade, minus the bears, right? And there's not really bears in sports. You're
Right.
betting on one team to win or the other team to win, right? Not the team to lose. And so for me, it's just a labor of love, bro, right? Keep your faith, people. If you're trying to design a company and your first logos suck, it's not the worst thing.
It's not the worst thing. We looked a while back at some of the original concepts for Monad logos. I
Oh
think
God, I
back
want to
from
see
like
them.
2022 and some other proposed names as well. So there's some deep lore there. I don't have those materials, but maybe at some point they'll see the light of day.
You'll make me go dig up my first messages with intern, where he shared like an old version of the white paper. I guarantee you there's some funky logo on that thing that is not the current logo.
Well, yeah, I mean, you guys have been committed to build on Monad for an exceptional amount of time, and it's been, really a cornerstone of the early stage Monad eco. How did you? It sounds like intern was
It was
your
intern.
your first point of contact.
Yeah.
But how did what's the story there?
So intern knew our BD, right? So shout out Crypto Cubano, our BD.
Yeah.
He's been with us almost, I think, the longest out of anybody that we've had. Who was just a guy I knew from conferences and other work in the blockchain space, right? And so he introduced us to Kevin and was just like, I want you to talk to this guy. They have sports betting as a thesis on an L1. This is a time where we're talking to like, a dozen L1s trying to figure out what we're going to do, where we're going to go, why we're going to be there type of thing. And I read the white paper. I was like, all right, this is cool. I don't really understand it. We'll keep in touch. Right. And then I believe it was our guys at Big Brain that we were talking to, right? And really were pushing us is like, hey, we believe in the Monad team. We've seen some cool stuff from them lately. And if you're looking to launch a retail product like you are right now, and you've shown some tests on other networks to be slow when you congest or whatever, you might want to try these guys. And we looked at it and said, for us, it's probably the best thing because you have a go to market right when we're having our go to market. And so we can come in as not like a new product on an established chain, but like a prime product on a new chain is in hand with you guys. And so I think that's helped us a lot. And then also, just to be frank out there, man, I don't know, like if you're a builder, where else are you launching your product? Right. If you need retail to come in and you don't want an NFT mint to slow down your product uncontrollably, where's this magic? Like, you going to Solana or you going to you guys? Right. I'm an EVM boy. Right. That for me, it's just there almost is no other place that's functional versus Monad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it was my understanding EVM was, like a fundamental design decision for Lever just as
Oh,
it was
100%.
for Monad as well.
Yeah, 100%. Like we did at one point after some initial testing on a few chains be like, is Solana the only place we could do this? Right. That was pre-Monad testnet, right? And we are like, no, just we're holding tight. Monad's gonna do what they say they're gonna do. We're gonna launch onto this, and then we got DevNet and testnet and everything. A few hiccups here and there from like infrastructure wise when stuff was getting stood up, but it hasn't. Like, look, I'll put it like this. I know it's just a test net, but on Friday last week when everything was slow due to the liquidation cascades, my bets were still going through in like a second on our test net. Right.
Sure,
So
yeah. And I mean, even like, sure, not there's been a lot of activity on the Monad testnet that has not been like quote unquote real organic user activity, as you would obviously expect with any testnet. But I forget who I was talking to yesterday. Um, I think it has been advantageous for a lot of teams to actually go and use it for its intended purpose, to test things out, see what's going to break, not only on the technical side, but the go to market side as well, which there's a lot of things that are really hard to predict until you actually go through the motion of rolling something out and, posting the link on socials, seeing a bunch of people flock in post announcement. And so I would imagine that to a degree, it has been quite helpful to have that live testnet environment with a lot of real user activity alongside the botted stuff.
absolutely. Right. I'll give you just a hard salient example here. Right. Our widget during our March Madness competition got hit over 50 million views in 1 month. That puts us insanely far outside of our contract for that widget, like from the third party provider, right? I didn't even know that we could go outside of our contract for that until that happened. And then it caused us to go and say, like, all right, let's get a different widget provider or adjust this contract and figure, like, that's just one of 1,000 things where you don't figure it out unless there's a metric ton of farmers coming to your site all trying to look at one thing at one time, right? So we broke a handful of places and then go and fix it, had some edge cases show up that and all of that stuff happens because there's a ton of people there. So for me, I don't think Lever exists in the manner that it does right now without without Monad Testnet having such a high volume of people coming through it and trying just to touch as many buttons as possible.
Right. And I mean, the obvious counter argument would be like, oh, well, any chain that's live also has, a testnet environment that, you could go and test, but you're not going to actually get that activity. You're not going to get a real perspective of how this might compare to an actual mainnet launch. And I think there's been, you could pick examples out of the air of teams that have launched on a different mainnet in a very public hyped manner, and then something goes wrong that just wasn't anticipated. Maybe it couldn't have even been anticipated without an opportunity like that. So it gives me a lot of confidence into apps like Lever that have been around the Monad ecosystem for a long time, have had the opportunity to roll out multiple different feature sets on the testnet, have built up real active communities and early stage user bases. And I think that's going to pay dividends on the mainnet launch and beyond.
Yeah, I mean, I can't agree with you enough, and I will reiterate again. I don't think we're where we are right now with the product and this close to pushing out our V2 unless we get hundreds of thousands of wallets connecting to the thing, millions of bets made. Like, we don't figure out half of the stuff in the time period that we had, right? It probably takes us twice as long as it has to get that stuff done, just because there's not like a so when you're building a new product that's novel, I can't go to like Aave or FanDuel and be like, this is how people are going to interact. Like, look at these things that they did here. It's just not, and also I can't go and fork their contracts and, just you're doing everything from scratch and you need a lot of help as far as users participating in early test pilots. And something you said there was 100% correct. There's not a lot of users on other test nets, minus like Gorilla testnet or whatever it is for ETH, which we're not going to test on. There's just not hundreds of thousands of users strolling around a test net. And then are you going to so let's say there's 1,000 users on a test net or something on some other chain. How are we getting all of those users then over to our product to test? Because they're probably not going to.
Sure.
Yeah. We'll catch some that'll come for our implied benefits down the road, right? But you're not going to get the number of users that you will doing something like participating in Monad testnet, right? So this is where one of those like, I'll scratch your back, you scratch my back, right? We'll be part of the ecosystem. The ecosystem will provide some testnet users for us. Good for you, good for me, good for everybody, right?
Flywheel.
Yeah, flywheel.
That's it. That's a good flywheel.
The
Joseph,
chat is just like demanding spins.
Well,
Nini has triggered it. She was in here just for the ruckus.
Well, we did get some great questions on the show today. We have our best lineup of prizes yet. I don't see why we would hold off any longer. Let's start spinning the wheel, lining up some prizes for the community who's tuned in today to this extended episode of Monad in the Morning.
They're calling her Spinini.
Spinini.
Yeah.
Spinini.
It sounds
I like that.
Sounds like an Italian dinner.
I that was my response. As I said, I'll take the Spinini Parmesan, please.
Yeah.
Oh man, that sounds yummy.
All right, so we got to kind of figure out how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna slide over so that you can pop over here, Mr. Blue, to spin this wheel. It's a little tight behind the counter.
We'll get it done.
We will, yes, sir. Okay. So we have our wheel here. Lovely, beautiful, and so so the way that we have it, right? Like we've got a bunch of prizes on here. Prior to the show starting, I put one slot with a lever jersey. We can either give literally everyone who asked a question, they can get a spin, get a prize, and it comes with a lever jersey, or we can put more lever jerseys.
Now let's give everybody a jersey, and then they can also get another prize.
Okay, bingo. Okay,
Dude, what?
First, these are the rules. I don't make.
I'm a man of the people.
Mr. Blue is a man of the people. So, first spin goes to Mirth Mono. I'll spin it around so that the viewers at home can see. Mr. Blue, take it away for Mirth Mono. What do we have? I cannot see on that screen. Monad swag and a lever jersey. Wow.
That's Monad swag and how do I get on that list, Danny?
On the Monad swag
on
list?
The Monad swag and a lever jersey. I don't even have a lever jersey yet.
I don't have a lever jersey,
guys.
We could do a merch swap.
Merch swap. right? You know,
amongst
like a cookie
ourselves.
swap, like a bake swap. I want to do a merch swap.
Yeah, right.
I like it. I want one of those hats.
No, bro, these are my favorite ones.
Those are good.
Yeah, the chat mentioned it multiple times.
Yeah,
They're digging in.
We're making merch. We're merching out right now.
All right.
Yeah.
So we've got from_SA with another good question. Mr. Blue, spin it. See what we got.
Monad cards.
Oh, yes. And to clarify, these are physical Monad cards. So you will receive a pack of Monad cards and you will receive a lever jersey as well from
That person
underscore.
That person's
that-
got it.
Yeah, that was a
You're
good.
gonna tell me there was an actual Monad card there. I was, oh man, I'll be fighting him for that one.
It'll be this is an opened pack that we broke on stream last week, but it'll look something like this.
Oh, that's so
It's a
sick.
Monad card
That's so
pack.
sick.
And if you're very lucky, you'll get
Is there a rare?
the Danny Pipelines card, self-proclaiming this one as rare, even
That's
if
the
it's
rare?
not.
I
I
love
don't.
it.
It's probably not. It's probably so common. That would be fitting for me. But Brady or Brady, 2 D's, BRADDYMSK. You're getting a spin. You're getting a jersey, and maybe something else as well. This is
VIP pipeline.
VIP pipeline with a lever jersey. That's what I call community first.
That is community first. Also, community last? Question mark, question mark, question mark?
Well, spinning the wheel last at least, right?
Right on. Okay, we've got given out 3 jerseys thus far, keeping mental tally. Real Chaos Walker, you're up next. Chaos is getting a jersey and potentially something else from the wheel. Let's see.
Main account block.
Oh, so sorry.
Perfect.
Positive
So
and the
sorry.
negative. It balances. Honestly, I think that's more positive than negative because you're getting a lever jersey. However, you will be blocked by the Monad main account, which means you will not see any updates from official channels until next week's show when we unblock you if you turn up. Next spin, Decatan.
Main follow.
Main
follow.
Okay,
Oh,
this one's
man. This is like
one's
two sides
all
of the
good.
coin,
Yeah,
right?
this one's all good. You get the follow from Maine. You get the lever jersey. Absolutely.
All right,
Vigra.
let's go a different way now.
Okay, opposite way.
We're gonna switch it up a little bit here.
PSP.
PSP.
So what I say, 5 million PSP?
Was it
5
it's
million
5
PSP?
million to one person?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Hey, just shout out that person is a degenerate, hopefully, and they go nuke the
Who is
entire
that?
thing. I don't know.
Vigra.
Vigra, just word of suggestion. If that gets to you before tonight's NFL game, do not put it on the Bengals. All right. Joe Flacco looks like he's hardly able to push a shopping cart yet.
I can't
let
believe
alone
Joe
lead a
Flacco.
football team.
Yeah, Joe Flacco is like I was in college like 6 years ago, and I used to
He was
tell
old then.
Yeah, I used to tell everyone like, "Oh, Flacco's my guy. He's my favorite quarterback. He's old as dirt, but he's still in the league."
Oh,
And
man.
now fast forward 2025, and we've got Flacco leading the team out on the
ghost of
field.
Joe Flacco.
Incredible. Next up, we've got one of my favorite names that I've ever seen in the chat, Impaler Mesmer. Impaler.
VIP and a lever jersey.
Bingo. That's a good prize. Who said we don't have good prizes on Monad in the morning?
James Hunsaker.
Okay, well, these prizes are for James. We've
You know what,
fixed
James?
them up.
James, you get a jersey too.
Oh, fair. That's fair. That's fair. He makes these things possible at the end of the day on a very granular level. Mexi 877, Monad in the morning super fan.
Come on, Mexi.
Monad swag and a lever jersey. That's going to be a killer merch pack, Mexi. You've got coming your way. Corolla Ka.
All right, Corolla Ka.
Main follow.
Oh, 2 main follows to 1 block. That's pretty good.
Bingo. Corolla Ka. Next up, we have Amazing Erich. The Amazing Erich.
The amazing.
The
The amazing.
Monad swag.
Monad swag.
You got
We're
some swag moving here.
we're dishing it out this week. We've got the physical airdrop of wearables as well as
Jerseys.
the digital airdrop claim portal going live. It is a big week. That was for Liber, right? Liber.
No, that was
an amazing air.
Oh, that was amazing, Erich. Well, next up we have Liber 3559.
a main account block.
Oh, I spoke too soon. Oh man.
Good night,
But-
Liber.
Also gets a jersey.
Fair enough. And our
Whoever can get us Liber's handle first. Is that it, Sylvan?
oh yes,
Let freedom reign.
true. If I recall correctly, Liber's name is the same on Twitter.
So Sylvan gets a.
Yeah. So how do we actually get these prizes to him?
We'll organize on
You'll
the
organize it.
back
I don't
end
got to
and
do anything.
We'll get in touch. and
Sorry, TV. You got to deal with all this, buddy.
We'll make it as easy as we possibly can. And for those who are winning a prize today, as always, we do appreciate your patience, as it takes some logistical work behind the scenes to make sure that we have all the correct information and can actually distribute these prizes. Takes a couple days. We are tracking who the winners are, and we will get you your prizes.
So let's spin for Sylvan because he is the one that got it.
Well, yeah, that's actually very fitting. I wanted to spin for Sovan anyways today because we posted a awesome clip or two from last week's episode that Sovan beautifully clipped. So Sovan, this spin is for you.
And he was clipping during the stream, so.
Bingo. Sovan,
spinning
we
it?
love you. Spin it up,
Spinning
Mr.
it for
Blue.
Sovan.
Spin it up.
Monad cards.
Monad
Oh,
cards.
those cards are
Sovan,
sick.
Jersey.
Sovan is getting some Monad cards. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Do we have any left? Because I did tell the chat that we'd spin for Nini.
One more spin never hurt anybody.
We can.
We got one more spin in us. Come on,
This
guys.
is. I'm willing to make an exception to the rule. This is the first ever foundation team member that we have spun for. It is the last foundation team member that we will ever spin for. We only spin for Nini. This one is for the legendary Sailor Nini's Mr. Blue.
If we do Monad main account block, I think she should get blocked forever then as a downside because she's a foundation member.
Okay.
Right? She's
all
got to
right.
pay some cost.
All right, I don't make the rules on this show. Mr. Blue makes the rules. So there we have it. Word is law.
Pipeline
hat. That's actually
a good one.
awesome.
That's a good one.
And by extension of the rule that you just made, Sailor Nini's has to wear the pipeline hat every day and can never take it off.
So it was spoken, so it shall be.
And her jersey.
And yes,
and lever jerseys. These are going to take a little bit because I don't even think they're to our guys yet, and then we're going to have to sort them, pack them, get them to you. So please be patient. They will be coming, I promise.
And your patience is worth it because you're getting a free lever jersey and it's awesome. So it'll be worth it.
Yeah,
it'll be worth it. And a huge thank you to the legendary Mr. Blue and the entire team at Lever. Most generous prizes that we have had yet here on Monad in the Morning, and a great way to cap off this week's episode on one of, if not the most exciting weeks yet in the Monad ecosystem. But there is quite a bit to come. In order to get ready for mainnet, you have to follow Lever, you have to join the Discord, and you should absolutely download the app, check it out, get ready to go. You can already place some bets now. You can get your hands on some PSP, and pretty soon you'll be able to bet with real money on Monad mainnet with leverage.
Let's go, guys. Again, I just want to say congratulations to the whole Monad team. I know it's been a labor of love to get to this point for you guys, and like I said, it's the most exciting week yet. Right,
Yet.
much more to come soon.
Many more big, exciting weeks to come. And if you want news on what is happening and when it is happening, this is the place for you. Follow the pipeline. Every Thursday morning, we are live, Monad in the morning, 10 a.m. And this is our longest episode yet. So appreciate you all sticking with us. Look forward to seeing clips on the timeline this coming week. If you do create a great clip, we would love to share it. I'm sure Mr. Blue, the Lever team, and our other guests would love to share and reshare your clips as well. So make sure to tag us, post the best moments, and hopefully we'll get you back on soon, Mr. Blue.
Oh, definitely, Danny. Soon it will be.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. And thank you all for being with us today. We'll catch you next Thursday, 10